What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another amazing Naruto story. What if Naruto gives up on Sasuke? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. My successor will be Uchiha Sasuke. Tsunade declared. People cheered as the mentioned boy, no man, looked surprised at that as he was immediately bombarded with praise, pats, and congratulate him. His friends were grinning and the villagers and shinobis cheered his name. Sasuke searched the crowd for his blonde teammate. He was smug about getting the title but for some reason it felt wrong. He finally saw the blonde who gave him a smile and thumbs up before walking away. Sasuke was about to call for him when Sakura jumped in his line of sight. Naruto looked up and stared at Tsunade who looked away in shame. Naruto was hurt, there is no questioning it, he was betrayed but Naruto somehow knew that maybe, just maybe, he doesn't deserve the title, that he couldn't reach his dream like what the villagers told him. With a heavy heart, Naruto headed to the Hokage's office. He knocked softly. "Come in," was heard from Tsunade as Naruto twisted open the doorknob. Inside was Shizune, Kakashi, Iruka, and of course Tsunade. "Naruto, what are you doing here?" Tsunade asked. She could not bear to look at the blonde as did Shizune, Kakashi, and Iruka. "I'm done," Naruto simply said, making the four looked at him in confusion. Naruto simply smiled as he reached out and took the headband from his head and folded it before placing it in Tsunade's desk, making the four's eyes widen in shock. But you just acquired the rank of Jonin. Naruto, what are you trying to say?" Iruka choked on his breath when Naruto looked away, biting his lip and took a deep breath. "I have a patience of a saint even if I did not show it. I have endured things that would make normal people cried out and died in the process. I have a heavy burden that was slowly crushing me yet I did not complain. I have people who turned their back on me many times I couldn't even count yet I still forgave them." Naruto began. "Naruto. If it," Tsunade began but Naruto shook his head and raised his hand to cut her off and let her speak. "I think it's time for me to step down. I have done my part and completed what the prophecy had foretold. I can't do it anymore. I need a break once in a while too." Naruto smiled sadly. "What are you saying, Naruto?" Kakashi asked. Naruto took out his old orange and black jumpsuit that was neatly folded as he flicked his wrist. A cloud of smoke surrounded him and when it cleared, he was wearing the same clothes as he placed the Jonin uniform that was not on the scroll next to his headband. "I may have the strength and power unlike any other and have an insane and off-charts stamina, but despite that I'm only human. Like other people, I get tired too. It's time for me to stand back," Naruto said bitterly. But Naruto, what about your ninja way?" Iruka asked, trying to get the blonde to change his mind. "I'm doing the only thing I did not do or even think about ever since. Forever, I give up," Naruto said, causing their eyes to turn wide and looked horrified. Tsunade was about to protest but when she saw the state Naruto was in, his emotions were rolling off in waves without his happy-go-lucky mask holding it back. Tsunade had no right on stopping the blonde as he finally bowed down. "It was nice to work with you and serve you," Naruto said before he stood straight and made his way out of the office, leaving the stunned occupants behind. And the very next day Uzumaki Naruto was gone, with no trace left behind. At first the villagers celebrated but as 5 years went by it had dulled until it stopped. Konoha 11 were saddened about Naruto's sudden departure without saying goodbye. No one knows why Naruto suddenly disappeared or if he was still a ninja other than the 4 occupants on that day. Tsunade did not announce it. Even the hunter nin were empty-handed. Sasuke also refused to become Hokage. His conscience was filled with guilt and anger. He thought that it was that damned tittle that drove his teammate, and dare I say, best friend away. Many things happened during the duration of 5 years. Former Rookie 9 was already 25 years old and Neji, Lee, and Tenten are age 26. From Team 7, Kakashi is more distant than usual, always talking to the memorial stone. Sakura is now working in the hospital to take her mind off of her teammate that had been missing for 5 years, and from everywhere she looked she could see the blonde and it getting into her. Sasuke is now always working his ass off, became an Enbu captain, and if on a mission he would at least try and find the blonde while he's at it, but like the hunter nins, he was empty-handed. Sai was sad and bored that he didn't have someone so easily riled up like Naruto to annoy. He also missed the blonde's antics and he's not going to deny that. From Team 8, Kiba is more brash and loud than usual and is complaining about Naruto disappearing out of thin air and had jokingly remarked that he would have punched the blonde if the Inazaka caught a whiff on his trail. Hinata, who was wearing Genjutsu Hinata's revealing outfit, was surprisingly cold and distant. She had changed drastically out of all of them. If someone bad-mouthed Naruto or even dare speak his name in an unpleasant way, a glare infused with her Byakugan and a gentle fist, that would send them flying like they were punched by Senju Tsunade herself, that would send them to the hospital for weeks would be the result. Everyone was shocked at the behavior of the Hyuga and they learned not to talk about Naruto in her presence. She also had achieved the heiress title as she defeated Hanabi without even trying. Flashback. Hinata stood calmly in front of Hanabi who rushed to try and attack her. Hinata simply swat her sister away like she was a mere bug that sent her crashing to the wall and unconscious. Hinata activated her Byakugan and glared at her father and the elders who were shocked and unnerved at her gaze. Like I said, Hinata spat, glaring harder on the elders and her father. I am not in the mood to fight. Force me again and I won't hesitate to send your sorry asses to the hospital for months and dare I say it I would make it a year. I hope you will not test my words, otherwise there will be consequences. Hinata sneered coldly as she turned and walked away with hands on her pockets and shoved the dumbfounded Neji away from the door and exited it herself. Flashback ends. Shino haven't changed at all, just lonely without Naruto causing a commotion around. In Team 8, Lee was upset but strived to train even harder to try and find Naruto and challenge him in a spar. Neji was sad and was curious on what drove Naruto away aside from the very obvious reasons. Tenten missed the hyperactive blonde and his tendency to make people laugh. She may not be that close with Naruto but she still missed him. Team 10. Choji was sad that there would be no one to match him and shared ramen with him other than Naruto who was now gone. Ino was sad as well. Shikamaru thought he was such a drag and troublesome but he was also missed the blonde. It seemed that the sun is dully shining down on them, as if disappointed on their behavior. It turns out, Naruto was always there for them but they weren't there for him. They really did took him for granted and now look what happened. Konoha wasn't always the same when Uzumaki Naruto left and that got them thinking. Naruto sighed again for the 100th time. He sat in front of a very pregnant red-haired woman with red eyes who was eating meat like there is no tomorrow as usual. Pulling his golden lock into a high ponytail before he stood up and grabbed the straw basket front the cabinet before heading to the backyard before opening the door revealing a perfect vegetable garden planted by himself and that woman earlier. Fixing his pink apron, he walked towards the cabbage patch. Naruto isn't the same as before. When he left, Kurama had contact on him that he wanted freedom and roam around freely. Naruto was never to deny it to his friend. He started to learn Fuinjutsu to try and tweak his father's seal. Only for it to backfire. It released Kurama in a human form but it cost them much. Their genders. Naruto is practically a female as well as Kurama now. It was weird for them at first but it was effective to throw off the Konoha ninjas that are searching for him plus it was beneficial. Naruto had long golden yellow blonde hair that reach up to her ankles and still possessed those beautiful cerulean blue eyes only wider and bigger. She was also busty and well-developed body, above average and hourglass figure. Her skin tone gone paler as well and shrunk 3 inches from her height as a boy. Kurama had acquired a fiery reddish-orange hair color that reached up to her knees that was always pulled into twin pigtails like Tsunade's hairstyle but her hair is in front instead of back in a messy yet stylish way with her bangs and fringe framed her face. She was pale and had a body every girl dreamed of with her chest that would rival Tsunade's. Both were living in peace in the small civilian village in the village hidden in the forests for a year. Buying a suitable house for themselves until Naruto finally got the place for her own. Also Kurama was experimenting on Edo Tensei to try and bring Kushina and Minato permanently and is working with seals along with Naruto. It was a success. The two were living on their own house 2 houses away. Kurama also wanted to have a partner or mate so she strolled down on the acceptable and tolerable people she knew and she found one. And an unexpected one as well. Uchiha Itachi. Naruto almost jumped out of her skin when she found out, but a battle between the two, Itachi can hold his own against Kurama with the help of his Sharingan, Kurama then used her chakra with Naruto using the Sage of the Sixth Path to forge Itachi's Magenkyo to Eternal Megenkyo. After that they bought their own house for themselves as well and married after 2 years of getting to know each other and had a 2-year-old boy who acts like his father and got his looks and coloring but with Kurama's facial structures with her temper. They were keeping a low profile for a while. Naruto disguised herself when she would go out, cannot risk if some ninja would recognize her from her infamous jutsu, by covering her whisker marks with makeup and wearing contact lenses to hide her cerulean blue eyes with the same shade as her mother's eyes and coloring her hair with orange as well. Her father had his hair coloring the shade of orange like Yahiko's since he was pretty well known in the elemental nations. Kushina merely dyed her hair the shade of auburn and would cut it to her shoulder length if she went out, but you use hair growth jutsu to grow it back again. Naruto finally finished picking up the fresh vegetables from her garden before entering back inside to find Kurama already leaving. "See you tomorrow, brat. Itachi and Mamoru would be back in a few hours. Also I heard from the mayor he called for you in his office after you're done with your chores," Kurama said. Naruto nodded as she set the basket in the counter. "I will," Naruto nodded as she waved goodbye to the pregnant Kyuubi. The others would really be laughing a storm when they hear about this. Especially Shukaku. Naruto smirked before heading in and washed the vegetables and putting them in the straw basket that has a white cloth on it as she put the other vegetable in her refrigerator. Naruto took off her pink apron before fixing herself and put on her makeup and contact lenses before dyeing her hair. Hair dye that would only be washed off by chakra. Naruto changed her clothes into a simply yellow sundress with orange and red flowers on it before slipping in a white doll shoes before grabbing her straw basket and head to the market to trade her vegetable with fish and meat. Naruto was greeted with smiles and hellos. In the village she was known as Kazama Natsumi, a widow woman who lost her fiancé 5 years ago and gave birth to a daughter who died a few minutes later, and also the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Kazama Arashi and Kazama Kikyo. And Kurama was known as her cousin who married to Kazemaki Dai with their son, Mamoru. Naruto left her basket with one of the people she really trusts and the first one they meet in the village, Momo Obaa-chan, an old lady who sells vegetables in the market. "Ah, Natsumi-chan, so good to see you again. Running out of meat and fish I see," the old woman laughed wholeheartedly. Naruto scratched the back of her head. "Yeah, Kura-chan had me cooking them and her eating them. I swear she eats all of my storage. Well, pregnant women are such picky eaters so I can't blame her." Naruto shook her head as the old woman laughed. "Yeah, I know. But you will know how it would feel if you are pregnant as well," Momosaki joked, making Naruto giggle. "I know, but I am still waiting for the one," Naruto joked as the old woman laughed. "Oh, I almost forgot, Momo-ba-chan. I am called to Mayor's office, he wants to see me for something. If I could leave my groceries here. I swear I will fetch it later," Naruto said. The woman nodded. "Of course, dear. I'll take care of those. Run along now and please if you see my granddaughter tell her I need help in the store." "Thank you," the old woman smiled. Naruto bowed and bid goodbye. Naruto walked calmly down the path without worrying much of her surroundings. Kushina had placed a seal on her as well as Kurama, Itachi, Minato and herself to hide their chakra reserve into Jonin's and disguised it with someone else. Kushina used her parents' chakra signature on Itachi and Kurama while her granny Mito's chakra on Naruto to hide theirs, while she used her uncle and his wife's chakra signature to disguise hers and Minato's. So the passing hunter nin that were looking for Uzumaki Naruto would not know it was actually her. Naruto arrived in front of the mayor's door and raised her fist to knock. "Come in," was heard as Naruto grasped the handle before twisting it and pushing it open gently. Naruto's breath caught in her throat as she stared at the 6 shinobis inside the room other than her. Hitaki Kakashi did not change much except this time both of his eyes is showing and he looked older. Uchiha Sasuke was wearing the same Jonin uniform with his headband tied loosely around his neck and his katana strapped behind him and black fingerless gloves with the Uchiha clan symbol on the right sleeve on his Jonin uniform. Haruno Sakura wears a Jonin uniform with her bubblegum pink hair is longer and in a messy yet stylish bun with her headband in her head serves as like a headband. And finally Sai, wearing a Jonin uniform. Team 7. They stared at her with calculative gaze, making her swallow the lump on her throat before composing herself and bowed before standing up straight. "Good afternoon, Konoha Shinobis, Mr. Mayor. What do I owe you a pleasure? Naruto asked as she closed the door. Ah, Natsumi-chan, this is the Konoha shinobis that would be in the village for a while for an investigation. Village matters, so it's classified. The mayor began. Naruto raised a brow but nodded. And since you used to be a special jonin in AIM, would it be okay for them to stay in your house while they're here? Most of our villagers are paranoid about shinobi and anything that involves with them, especially the war just ended years ago, the mayor said. Naruto sighed but nodded. Of course it would be alright, but how long are they going to stay? Naruto asked. We promise it won't be long. We would finish our mission as soon as possible so we could not hinder of you and your husband's privacy, Sakura assured. Naruto then put her act together, and let out her fake tears of sadness and look away. Naruto should be given some credits on having the Best Actress awards. Naruto is expert when it comes to masks, so she was easily pulling it off like she always does for most of her life. No one saw through it. Sakura panicked when tears fell from Natsumi's eyes. Her fiancé disappeared years ago with no trace left behind, which she believed. He died, and she was giving birth at that time. Her child was already dead when she gave birth to her. It's a sore subject to her. Mentioning her family, the mayor said sadly as Naruto cried harder. I am really sorry, Natsumi-san. I did not know. Sakura exclaimed as she tried to comfort Naruto, who flinched away as she turned back before wiping the tears from her eyes and composed herself despite the red eyes and walked out of the room to the bathroom to fix herself up and reapplied the makeup. Team 7 stood there awkwardly as the women left to take care of her emotional breakdown. The mayor shifted uncomfortably from his seat until Naruto entered again, but more quietly this time. Ah, Ms. Kazama, I apologize for not informing them about your love life. K looking away. Ah. So you should be going now. It's getting dark and your house is quite far from the village. The mayor coughed awkwardly. Hi, please. Follow me, Naruto muttered as she left through the door and could hear them following her. Naruto maneuvered from the busy streets as she was aware of Team 7 was following her through the rooftops. Naruto picked up her basket and bought extra groceries before walking to her house, which was 10 minutes walk away from Kurama's house and half an hour walk from her parents'. It was deep in the woods where it was quiet and peaceful. Her house was 2 stories with an attic and a basement. It's really large for someone who lives alone. It is painted with baby blue color and black rooftops with white doors and windowsills. There was a white wooden fence and gate with her front yard filled with flowers, mostly roses, and 1 peach tree. The blonde dyed orange put her groceries down before fishing her keys by the flower pot and unlocked her door before picking up her groceries and went inside, leaving the door open for the shinobis to enter as she removed her shoes and put it neatly in the rocker. I only live alone. I have only 6 bedrooms. I occupied the bedroom in the east wing, which is the master's bedroom where the door was painted with orange. My parents' bedroom, if they would visit, painted with yellow, and my cousin and her husband's bedroom that was painted with black. I only have 3 guests' rooms, so I would leave you to it which pairs with which. The guest room is in the west wings. Make yourselves comfortable, I'll cook dinner, the host said quietly but loud enough for them to hear it. Thank you for taking us in, Ms. Kazama. It's really nice of you, Kakashi said, and for the first time not having that orange book in his claws. It's nothing really. Naruto shook her head as she organized the things in his cupboard and refrigerator. Kakashi-sensei. Sakura called. Kakashi walked over and started at the picture frame. In the picture there stood Naruto with a goofy grin wearing his orange and black jumpsuit with Natsumi on his back grinning as well while showing a golden band with a small diamond on it, an engagement ring. This had them look surprised and shocked at the photo. There are lots of them hand on the wall with 2 older male and female which they believed was her parents, and with a red-head woman and a man who looks like Itachi without the scar marks on his face. It almost gave them a heart attack. Is that Naruto? Sakura hissed at her teammates who blinked as they eyed the orange-haired woman cooking dinner that looks like sushi, tempura, onigiri, and egg soup. The Dobi has a fiancé, Sasuke gaped. Well, I guess he isn't AD. Sai started to say when Naruto gave him a sharp look. Insult him, I dare you, Naruto challenged as she stabbed the kitchen knife in the fish while glaring. Ah, I'm really sorry, but it was just a nickname. Sai fake smiled. Naruto huffed and continued on cooking before she seasoned the dishes and prepared a clean one and set the plates down before she went back to work. She needed to tell it to the others that Konoha shinobis are in the area. Knock knock knock. Naruto perked up when a knocking sound was heard. It was her mother, Kushina. She was about to go get the door when Sakura stood up. "I'll get it for you. Natsumi-san," Sakura smiled. Naruto nodded. "Thanks." Kushina in her disguise raised a brow when a pink-haired woman wearing shinobi leaf Jonin uniform opened the door. Both stared at each other for a while. Kushina blinked as well as Sakura before she gave her a blank look. "Who are you and why are you in my daughter's house?" Kushina demanded. I'm Sakura and my team and I would live with Natsumi-san for a while. Come in." Sakura opened the door wider as Kushina gave a curt nod and entered the house and removed her shoes and placed it neatly on the rocker before she maneuvered her way to the living room where there are other people inside. They blink at her as she blinked back. "Naruto dear. You have visitors yet you did not inform us," Kushina said as Naruto entered the living room. "Sorry about that, Ka-chan. I did not know I am having until the last minute. This is Haruno Sakura, Hitaki Kakashi, Uchiha Sasuke, and Sai. Konoha-san, this is Kazama Kikyo, my mother," Naruto said. Kushina smiled widely before turning to Naruto and tossed her a pink scroll. "It's for you. Your father was pissed when they dumped it in our doorstep thinking you might be in our house." Kushina giggled as Naruto unrolled the scroll and in a cloud of smoke bouquets of flowers fell on her feet with chocolate boxes and stuffed toys. Again? Naruto's sweat dropped as well as the ninjas. Kushina shrugged and picked up a heart-shaped chocolate box. "To my lovely Natsumi. From you future HUSB, bah. Idiots. At least the chocolate tastes good," Kushina said as she tossed the heart-shaped chocolate in the air and caught it in her mouth with ease. "It's starting to get out of control every time," Naruto said as a shadow clone appeared next to her and picked up the bouquets of flowers and head to the kitchen as she picked up the chocolate boxes and head to the kitchen as well. "Why don't you send them flying away? Better yet scare them off half to death like I did until I meet your father," Kushina said. Naruto gave her a deadpanned look. "You don't mind if I keep some of them, will you?" Kushina added as she popped another chocolate in her mouth. "No, I will never replace my beloved. But I do wish you spill the beans on why you are here other than delivering these things to me. Not that I don't like you being here, but it's already 7 in the evening," Naruto said as she exits the living room and Kushina followed, stomping on the stuffed toys childishly before following Naruto out of the room. "Well, Misame. You know about Kikyo being pregnant and now on her 9th month. Their voice faded as they entered the kitchen when Kushina started talking in hushed tone as if sharing a gossip. Naruto and Kushina was aware that Team 7 was eavesdropping on their conversation as Naruto set the food down in a table before packing a bento for Kushina to take. Kushina was getting off the topic but Naruto let the woman talk to her heart's content. "And so? Like this hero guy or maybe Hoshi because, well, they are polite and nice-mannered. They'll be a great husband for you," Kushina said. Naruto looked down as the house quieted down. "Mom, if you really want to help, please stop trying to help. I will wait for him. I know he is alive out there. He will come back like he promised," Naruto acted. Kushina sighed and patted her back. "Well, that's my girl, not giving up on your man. Also, I really should be going. I'm still going to Kikyo's house to tell her about your visitor so she can't just barge randomly here in the morning," Kushina said. Naruto nodded as she walked Kushina out the door and handed her the bento and a few boxes of chocolate. "Take care, mother. I wish you home safe." Naruto kissed her mother's cheeks. "Take care as well, Masumi. Bye-bye, my little sunflower." Kushina waved as she leaped out of the fence. Naruto sighed as she closed and locked the door as she poked her head in the living room. Dinner's ready?" Dinner is awkward for Naruto. She kept her mouth shut and glanced in a while by the window as if waiting for something to burst through. From the stealing glances from the Konoha shinobis they noticed it as well. A scratching and tapping sound from the window cut of the thick atmosphere. "Akai finally showed up," Naruto said as she flicked her wrist to the direction of the window. Chakra strings from her forefingers flex and wrap around the handle as she flex her finger again to open it. A head of a fox poked in before yipping once and growled at the 4 ninjas. Naruto smiled and nodded, making the vixen yipped and jump inside. Naruto flexed her finger as she let her chakra strings close the window before flexing her fingers and had a bowl of a cooked meat from the counter brought to her and put it down in the floor. "Dinner is served, Akai-chan," Naruto said as the kid yipped and dived in. "This is Akai. She's my companion, Naruto said as she went back to eating. A fox? Sakura asked. Obviously she's not a cat nor a dog. Naruto snorted, making Sakura frown as Naruto stood up with her meal finished before she start washing the dishes, and there was no other words exchanged by them that night. The next morning Naruto had woken up early, but she can tell the others are awake but haven't left their beds yet. Naruto sighed and stood up before stretching and took a bath. She grabbed a dark gray kimono with white obi before dressing up and tied her now dry hair into a tight bun. Naruto then headed to downstairs and to the backyard. The sun is starting to rise. Naruto then weaved through hand seals. Water style. Light rain jutsu, Naruto muttered. The moist air then gathered to get hers and lightly rained down on the vegetable garden and watering them. She created the said jutsu. It's an E-rank 1, just a jutsu used for gardening. Designing it if Naruto have somewhere to go and can't waste time watering them. Naruto nodded before she went inside and exited the house, doing the same to her front yard flower garden before heading inside to cook breakfast. It's already 6 in the morning. Naruto put down the egg omelet, bacon, rice, bread and butter, a teapot filled with fresh boiled water, and settled the coffee and tea down as well as sugar and cream. Breakfast is ready. I know you're awake, Naruto yelled, as she sat down and put a bowl full of bacon and another bowl of warm milk down as Akai rushed to it and ate her share. Naruto waited for her former team to cook down and joined her. When they did, they're already on their uniform. Naruto nodded and gave a low good morning. Itadakimasu. Then they ate their breakfast. Pardon me for asking, but what is your mission exactly? Naruto asked. Team 7 looked at each other, then to Naruto, who raised a brow on their behavior. We aren't supposed to tell you this, but since you had letness in your home, we might as well do, but don't be upset, Kakashi said. Naruto gave him an odd look before nodding. There are some reports around here about a sudden spoke of chakra. A merchant had informed Konoha about the sudden spike and he recognized it as one of the allies of Konoha. He said it was so great that he can never forget it. It's a demonic chakra signature and Kumo is far from here and Killer Bee was kept in check, so we had one answer to that when we saw your picture. Kakashi trailed off. Naruto narrowed his eyes. We believe that Naruto, your fiancé, is nearby or in this village but did not inform you, Sakura said. Naruto's eyes widened. When did Kurama spiked up her chakra? The seal on her made it impossible to do so. Unless it won't hold off much longer, Naruto thought, then her eyes widened in disbelief. Of course, the bigger the chakra reserves, the more faster the seal weakens. Like the Shiki Fuin, it was strong but is slowly but surely getting weaker every time I feel a spike up of emotion. It must have loosened during childbirth. I wonder if the vixen knows, Naruto thought before she clenched her fist. Of course she does, Naruto thought bitterly. Team 7 watched the woman's facial expression change, taking it as her reaction on their so-called bombshell information. Naruto looked down with a blank face when she remembered her cover and decided to act. Clenching her fist, making her chopsticks snap in half. After that, Akai whined at her mistress's distress. Naruto stood up. Excuse me, I'll heading to my cousin's house and to my parents to inform them. Thank you to trusting me on this one. I'm leaving now. Come Akai, we're going. Have a good day. Naruto bowed before picking up Akai and disappeared in swirl of orange glitters. That was something else, Kakashi commented. It has to be expected. Les disappeared without telling his fiancé and now learning he's in this village, probably pissed off. Carrot-top, Sai said. Naruto barged in the Uchiha household where the family is eating breakfast when she barged inside. Kurama looked up to see Naruto's deadly emotionless face. Something is up. We need to talk. After you guys finish your breakfast, she said seriously as the two nodded. Naruto headed to the living room and sat down, just as Minato and Kushina appeared using the Hirishin. It wasn't long until the two joined. What is it? Minato asked. Kurama. Your seal is weakening. The seal on you to keep your original chakra signature hidden. It's leaking, Naruto replied a few seconds later, making them wide-eyed. What? But I am pretty sure I can't sense her chakra other than the disguise chakra. Kushina protested. Naruto is correct. We got used to her chakra signature, we did not bother with it. I'm assuming it has drawn the attention of Konoha, Itachi said as he looked at Kurama with his Sharingan activated. Yes, a merchant had informed them. It won't be long for them to pinpoint Kurama because we're near my house. Mom. Dad. You need to reinforce the seal. We need something stronger to throw them off. Also, the seal would definitely break during childbirth. The bigger the chakra reserves, the weaker the seal gets. We need to make a new, stronger and suitable one, Naruto said, making the two nodded and got to work. That's weird. I finally pinpoint where it was and now it disappeared, Kakashi sighed. I know, Sakura sighed. Suddenly a spoke of demonic energy caught their attention as they rushed to the direction. The chakra signature is running away from them at a fast pace. The faster they move, the faster their target moves as well. Sai, Kakashi called out as Sai already on it. Ninja art. Super beast scroll. He drew a bird and got on to try and corner Naruto. They saw a golden blur and orange up ahead. It was Naruto. Naruto, Dobi, less. Wait, Sakura called up, but Naruto did not look back. Instead, he ran faster than ever. Sasuke determined to catch the Dobi, speed up, but he multiplied himself and spread out. Cursing under his breath, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi sent their shurikens and kunais to dispel majority. They were nearing on the cliff. Then the Naruto jump off the cliff and into the raging and crashing waters below. Damn, we can't lose him, Kakashi hissed as he looked down, but the blonde did not emerge. Pretty clever for him to hide his scent by traveling underwater. I got them off our backs, for now, but it won't last much longer. Pretty soon they'll stick around for more clues, Naruto said. And until then we must watch out for ourselves to not be found out, Minato said as the others nodded. Naruto shoved the spoon full of ice cream on her mouth. She was watching the Walking Dead marathon alone, if you could, her companion Kitsune sleeping. It's already 8 in the evening. Konoha Shinobi hasn't came back yet as she wasn't that sleepy yet, so she had to entertain herself. Run, you idiot, she shrieked, causing her companion to jump in surprise and yawn before leaving. Stop, don't come any closer, she yelled as she pointed her spoon at the TV. No, Naruto winced as she covered her eyes. Suddenly she heard someone broke her door and rushed to her side. What's wrong? Who attacked you? Sakura asked frantically. What are you guys doing? You're blocking my view, Naruto yelled as she shoved them aside and continued watching. Team Kakashi was exhausted. They are trying to track down Naruto, but since they were following a shadow clone, it's a dead end. Tiredly they made their way to their host where they heard screaming. Run, you idiot, stop, what are you doing? No. They looked at one another, then at the door. She's being attacked. Sakura reared her fist and punched the door open, causing Naruto to scream again in fright. The Leaf Ninjas rushed to the living room only to find their hostess watching a horror movie while screaming profanities to the actors and eating ice cream. They sweat dropped at the scene. Natsumi-san, good evening, Sakura greeted. Naruto looked at them in surprise before nodding. Good evening to you as well. Dinner is already served, she smiled before a shriek came from the TV and she went back to what she was doing. They couldn't help but notice how she was acting like their missing knucklehead ninja. After dinner, they excused themselves in Kakashi's room for a meeting. Placing a barrier and silencing seals around. What can you say about our hostess? Sakura asked. She's strange, that's for sure, Kakashi simply answered. Did you know anything about her? The Dobis surely mentioned her, Sasuke replied. Something isn't right here, Sakura said. When it comes to less, something isn't always right, Sai smiled fakely. What do you mean by that? Sakura asked. Sai blinked but smiled fakely again. Les has a perfect mask, Sai simply said. Care to say it more clearer? Sasuke pinched his nose in annoyance. Do you remember why I was so interested in Uzumaki before? It's because of how he hid behind his mask. You can literally see through mine but not his. It took me a while, but he is definitely hiding his true self. It was cracking and I was shocked to see so many layers when it happened. It was during the announcement of duck-haired Emo to be the Hokage. It was falling, and I don't like what I see on his eyes. That got me thinking. I am Uzumaki Naruti's friend, but what do I really know about him aside from the common knowledge? He's an idiot, he's insanely strong, he's a Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, he's a dead last, he loves orange, is fond of toads, he's in love with ramen, and he's the Yondaime S and the red-hot habanero's son. Aside from that I don't know anything. Except that he is an orphan and his birthday is the 10th of October, Sai smiled. The three stared at him in shock. You're right, I don't know much about him aside from those you mentioned, Sakura said. Well, it seems we're assuming things then. It's obvious Naruto did not trust us, not even mentioning he has a wife. I think we made it difficult for her as well, as who drove him away in her house while searching for her missing husband. It's obvious that she doesn't like us, Kakashi said. What will we do then? Sasuke asked. He leaned his back by the windowsill. We need to relocate. We need to leave this village. Something tells me that Naruto is in here and is in here the whole time but did not show up, Kakashi said. Yeah, because we're here, Sakura said. They all look out the window when they spot a suspicious figure by the trees. The hooded figure wore all black and is crouching on a branch. The tree outside that had a perfect view on the living room. They were about to go outside to confront him but their hostess, Natsumi, ran outside. They stopped to watch. The figure jumped down. The two stood there for a minute. Natsumi-chan. A familiar voice reached their ears, one that they did not hear for the past 5 years. They watched as Natsumi burst into terror as she ran towards the hooded figure. Jumping and dove in for a hug while the figure spread his arms and caught the crying woman as he spun her around. His hood had fallen off, revealing yellow blonde hair that was pointing on every possible direction but longer and had side fringe. Husband, Natsumi cried louder as she clung into him and hugged him for her dear life. It's okay, Natsumi-chan. I'm here. I missed you, Datbeo. Naruto soothed his wife, rubbing circles on her back, smiling in relief, sadness, guilt, and love. Beloved, I missed you so much. I really missed you. Where were you these past few years? Why did you leave? Why did you abandon me? Natsumi cried louder as Naruto only held her tight. I'm sorry. I don't want people to go after you. I have enemies after all, Naruto said. Natsumi looked at him for a while. I'm sorry. I was pregnant when we last saw each other. I gave birth when you went off to war, Natsumi began. The team looked at each other knowing that it wouldn't end well. Really? I get to be a dad? Nihito's eyes lit up in excitement. The thing is, Naruto, I'm sorry but our angel died after she was born. I am so sorry. I failed you as a wife and a mother. I am a bad mother, letting my child die. I'm sorry. Natsumi cried in hysterics again. They blinked in shock when Nihito's cerulean blue eyes darkened to aquamarine. It was cold and steel hard. He blinked and smiled sadly and pulled his wife into a heart-loving embrace. He was crying too as he hugged his wife. I'm sorry, Natsumi-chan, I wasn't there for you. If I could have then she would still be alive, Naruto said. Natsumi cried harder. You were battling your rogue teammate, that's what I heard. You were trying your best to bring him back. I won't hold it in you. Natsumi so bad. Naruto scowled but sighed as he smiled and hugged her tightly. I'm sorry, love, to think that I choose him over you and our soon-to-be child. I should have come home to you when the war is over, Naruto said. No, you see him as a brother. I can understand that. I just missed you so much. Please do leave. Natsumi clutched into him. Naruto stayed silent. Bangs covered his eyes. Naruto-kun? You're staying right? Natsumi asked desperately. I'm sorry, Natsumi-chan, but I can't. I have other things to do. Naruto sighed and looked at the frozen Team 7, then turned his attention back to his wife. Natsumi shook her head. No, I just got you back. You can't leave me. Please don't, Natsumi cried as she clutched into him. I love you. I'm really sorry but I can't stay. I promise to come back. Datbeo, Naruto smiled. Natsumi vigorously shook her head. No, don't please. I'm begging you, Natsumi cried. Naruto smiled sadly and kisses her in the forehead and rested his on hers. I will come back. I promise, and I never go back down on my word. I am telling you this and I wanted you to trust me as your husband. Wait for me a little longer, alright, Datbeo? He gave her a foxy grin and hugged her one last time before disappearing in a flash. Naruto-kun, you baka. Natsumi fell on her knees and wailed loudly. We should leave this place now. We're only bringing pain of Natsumi-san. His being here is straining their relationship. Sakura said. Sasuke looked away and clenched his fist. Is it because of me that the Dobi wasn't there to see his child? Is it because of me that this is happening to him and his wife? Sasuke looked out the window at the woman crying in grief and loneliness. We should tell Tsunade-sama about this. Natsumi-san is to never be bothered again, Kakashi said. The Team 7 nodded. You can easily beat Koyuki's acting skills. That's some act you got there, Kurama smirked. Naruto rolled her eyes but shrugged. It was amazing. I feel like I was watching a soap opera live. I even cried, TT Ebane. Kushina wiped her tears using Minato's handkerchief. You did well. If I hadn't know about the plan I would be terribly convinced. Itachi smiled and poked Nihito's forehead. I just hope it's enough to drive Konoha away from out here, Minato said. They nodded. Naruto in her disguise sat down on the couch. In her hands is a picture frame of her and a clone transformed into Naruto. Their age was 14 in the picture and Jiraiya stood behind the two blushing kids with a grin on his face. Naruto was going for another guilt trip for Team 7. She's going to use emotion and tears to drive them away. Kakashi came downstairs followed by Sai, Sasuke and Sakura. They saw Natsumi absent-mindedly stroke the picture frame while she looked like she was thinking about something the way her eyes glaze over. Akai nudged her master, feeling her gloomy aura. I'm fine, Akai. He will come back. When he's ready. Natsumi smiled sadly, wiping the tear on her face away. She looked at their direction. Startled she stood up and hastily wiped the tears away. Is there anything I can help you? Naruto asked, holding herself from saying, Dat Bayo. Ah, Natsumi-san, we should be leaving now. You see, our target had changed location. Kakashi eyes smiled. Naruto paused as she stared at them, then to the picture frame on the corner of the room. The picture of Team 7 with Yamato and Sai after the war. Why do you want him back? Naruto asked. He's our friend, of course we want him, Sakura answered without hesitation. Naruto could not help but changing her smile into a frown. You already drove him away. Isn't that enough? Naruto asked, displeased, dropping her sweet facade. It's not our intention. What? You're going to retrieve him and take advantage of his kindness once more? Haven't you done that already? How many years was it? I remember correctly, it was even on your academy days, so 14 years I think. 14 years you have taken advantage of the fact that he has no one and cherished friendship. He considered you all his family. Family that did not even care for him. He sacrificed everything for that damned village, his happiness, his freedom, his loyalty, and what did it give in return? Enmity. And Konoha wasn't even satisfied, crushing his dreams, and the only thing that pushed him to rise to the top only to get pushed from the platform and fell hard. Naruto let her hatred and disgust show on her face. Her tears keep on falling. Good thing she put on some waterproof makeup. We did Shut your mouth. You. A teacher that couldn't even teach his students well and show favoritism. Not wanting to face Naruto because he looks like his father. Well, aren't you a coward? And look what that favoritism lead to. A hole in the chest from the Chidori on his 12-years-old student. You may have been there after 3 years, but you missed 12 years of his trust. Naruto spat at Kakashi, then turned to Sakura. And you're the worst. I am disgusted with you, using his childhood feelings to push him to retrieve the traitor. Such a dirty thing to do, and you're a kunoichi. Disgusting and shameless. Who do you think you are, Cilia-born bitch? What standing does your clan have to use the Prince of Uzushio as your personal punching bag? Using him to vent you anger. What, because he's the dead last and is an orphan? I am too. Try and hitting me, I dare you. You're nothing but a girl who has smart but can't do shit. You did not even say thank you for bringing Tsunade back to the village in which you ran to and begged for apprenticeship. If it weren't for him, Tsunade won't step a foot in the village. And you know what that cost him? Almost died because of Kabuto, throwing his life away to save hers. And what did you do? Using your monstrous strength to beat him up. Did you know? His rib had broken, stabbed his lung and slightly wounded his heart. If it were for Kyuubi he would have died. Not to mention you cracked his skull every single fucking time you hit him. And how frequent did you hit him? 6 to 10 times a day. Tell me, if it was the Uchiha would you dare? No, because you showed favoritism once more. Naruto laughed bitterly as she sneered. And don't even get started with you. Avenger you say. Killing your brother you say. And then you killed your biological brother. Oi, to get disappointed and guilty. Someone was there and was like a family to you. Aren't you just allergic, killing those close to you? You did not even hesitate to deliver killing blow on him. Now you are next to your other teammate. Why aren't you digging their heart out, huh? Favoritism. What a fucking bastard. I have no idea why he tolerate you so much, such a bastard whom had a dark heart. You don't deserve his attention. None of you does. But of course he was a fool, he had longed for family and you, stepping on fresh wounds, even insulted him. Having your family killed on front of you might be better than not knowing at all. At least you won't be thrown out in the orphanage when you were 3 and lived in the streets for an entire year, digging on the garbage to find food and had to sleep in the shabby and unstable shed during winter, worrying every day that it might fall because of the wind and snow. You don't understand what pain, suffering, and loneliness are. He had experienced it, every single fucking one of them. Tell me, if it were you in his shoes, those who had been at least had warm home and food in the table as well as friends and family, can you survive it? I know you won't. A Jinchuriki's barely survived. Eating 1 moldy bread a month is too much, almost none at all. Once again, if it weren't for the Kyuubi's chakra, I am afraid an UB Mark Thumb's tone would be his fate. And when the massacre happened, everyone pitied the boy who has it all. Isn't that funny? They are fueling the flame to someone who would later desire to destroy that village and who took the blow and protect the boy they scorned, giving false praise, and after everything was solved, once more thrown aside for the Uchiha that was a traitor. Favoritism. I hate that fucking word. I hate that to death. Naruto gritted her teeth so harshly as she leaked her bloodlust. I have no enmity with Sai, he never really brothers with Naruto, but he never stood up for him either. I can see him as an ungrateful shit, nothing more. All of you better get out and don't come back. Because of Konoha, my husband could not return home. Because of Konoha, my husband could not make it back to at least have a glimpse of our daughter. Because of Konoha, my father figure died in the hands-on pain in which he turned out that way because of Konoha. Because of Konoha, they produced Uchiha Madara. And because of Konoha, my husband suffered. Get out. If you show your face to me once more, I will become another Uchiha Madara and destroy Konoha. See if you can stop me. I would certainly won't be stopped by him, he would support me, that I am sure. At least I would get some revenge and justice for our suffering and the lives of the loved ones I lost. Isn't that right, Avenger Uchiha Sasuke? Isn't that your view? Naruto was seething in anger. Now, out. Get out. Naruto threw them out of her door, throwing the photos of Team 7, the photos that had to do with Konoha, on the ground, causing it to shatter. Naruto ripped the Shodem's necklace from her neck and threw it on the ground and slammed her door hard. The Team 7 took it all in without opening their mouth. Thunder and lightning could be heard as rain poured. Tsunade stared at the necklace Team 7 had brought back. She just had Team 7 dismissed after their report, repeating every word Natsumi said. First she was surprised, but she saw a photo of Naruto and her that Team 7 brought back. No, not Team 7 but Team Kakashi. There is no Team 7 if there is no Naruto. Tsunade now knew why the brat had left. Almost the same reason why she left Konoha years before. He had enough. Lost his daughter, from Sakura's report, whom had checked on Natsumi while she was asleep. The woman's vitality is faint, so it's probably impossible for her to have another child, and that would probably a big blow on Naruto, who value family that he value himself. Again, Naruto had set it up as she used her seals. So how could Tsunade keep persuading the blonde? He must have hate Konoha. No, he hate Konoha. Despise it even. Just like her. Tears dripped down Tsunade's eyes as she stole the picture of Naruto. In it was him, looked very happy next to an equal happy Natsumi. She was stroking her belly, but it was still flat. He was lovingly wrap her around her arms. The wonders of shadow clone and transformation jutsu. Call Team Kurenai, Team Guy, and Team Asuma, as well as Iruka in here. I need to tell them, Tsunade said. Shizune nodded sadly as she left. I guess someone whom had the heart of gold could hold hatred and enmity as well. Who am I kidding? You were too forgiving that it was the cause for people taking advantage of you, and now you finally snapped. Tsunade sighed as the door opened and said Team entered. What is it, Tsunade-sama? I know asked. It's about Naruto. Tsunade began. Everyone perked up because of this, especially Hinata. I want you to stop searching for him, Tsunade said. This caused the others to oratist. Why? Hinata asked. Tsunade placed the picture on the table. Naruto had enough of Konoha. While he went on a training trip with Jiraiya, they meet an aimed kunoichi named Natsumi. Apparently, Naruto and Natsumi were well acquainted. When Jiraiya died, they got married. Tsunade said, Hinata looked jealous as everyone could see it. She was pregnant when Naruto was busy battling with the Akatsuki. She got birth after the war ended, but he fought with Sasuke that time so he wasn't there. Who knew that the child was already dead when she was born? And looks like she can't have any children in the future. This elected gasp on the people in the room. They are starting to see the picture of what happened and what causes his disappearance. However, he did not return to her. He had too many enemies, he kept a secret of her from Konoha and was not willing to drag her into this mess with Konoha constantly searching for him. He did not know that she was pregnant and that the child died while still in her womb. That woman, Natsumi, held deep hatred in Konoha but did not do anything to be a threat. She simply lived quite far from here, Tsunade said. What happened then, Tsunade-sama? Tenten asked. Kakashi reported that Naruto visited once but only stayed for a few moments before he left. And of course, their presence there was straining Naruto's and Natsumi's relationship. She had let Team Kakashi stayed with her for a week without doing anything until that night Naruto showed up. The next morning, she threw them out with a warning to never come back and ruin her and her husband's life, Tsunade answered. If Konoha would not bother her then she would not be a threat, Shikamaru said. Tsunade nodded. Excuse me, Hinata stormed away to cool off. Tsunade-sama, I would like to resign as well, Iruka suddenly said. This shocked everyone. Iruka? Tsunade blinked. I also had enough, Tsunade-sama. I could not stand it anymore. Walking in the streets, hearing them talk badly about Naruto when he was here, and it even took them 25 years to fully accept him and praise him to the heavens. That was after he left for 5 years. He is like a son to me, and even if I am a ninja, a human can take so much. I can't stand seeing those people beating him up for no reason, began paining him. In the academy the teachers are even worse. I am glad to serve you for many years, Tsunade-sama. I, Amino Iruka, Chunin instructor, am resigning and wish to leave the village. I am sorry, he sighed as he placed his headband on the table and his Chunin vest before he left silently. Everyone was so shocked seeing Iruka like that, but they could understand. After all, Iruka had practically raised Naruto. Meanwhile, with Iruka, he knew that it was a ploy. He can see Naruto's handiwork for miles. That story was good, but he knew that Natsumi is not real and there is no marriage. He had stared on the picture for a very long time and he finally figured out. He knew Naruto like the back of his hand. And now he's going to find his favorite knucklehead student. Iruka then left, heading towards the village Team Kakashi had been to. He would find Naruto if it's the last thing he would do. Naruto hummed as she pulled the weeds on her garden. She did not wear any disguise, her head itched with the hair dye. Besides, she had seals on her territory in which was screaming at her as they were suddenly triggered. Naruto stood up in alarm and before she could do anything, Iruka landed in front of her making her yelp in surprise. God Almighty! She suddenly said as she stumbled in surprise. Iruka-sensei? Naruto paused as she stared at the man in front of her. Amino Iruka, gone with the usual Chunin uniform and now wearing casual and loose civilian clothing. Naruto, you idiot, how could you leave without telling me? Don't you know how worried I was? Iruka began scolding the girl as he booped her in the head. I'm sorry, Yano. I don't want to tell you because I am afraid that you'd be pulled down with me. Naruto lowered her head like a docile child, making Iruka sighed. Iruka had raised Naruto after getting to know her when she was a child. She would be heartbroken every time the man finds out about her being tormented and beaten. He would oftenly drag her out of trouble before it even gets started. However, other Chunin like that bastard Mitsuki would purposely distract and held Iruka back from interfering, in which the man would explode and give them tongue lashing. Iruka only being Chunin did not make others look down on him. After all, everyone knew that Iruka could had the demon under his control. But the Chunin would give a glare and yells that worth of Ibiki's improvement. There are many times that Naruto had tried everything to keep Iruka from storming to the Hokage office and throw a tantrum. It made her felt warm. Iruka is family, that is why she never left the village. It is because of Iruka. So when she left, she feared that Konoha would send Iruka to personally drag her back. Even as a child, when Naruto gone off to prank an unfortunate soul with Jonins and Chunin as well as Anbu running around to catch or search for the boy, Iruka admired Naruto's tactics, maneuvers, stealth, and how he had hid while wearing that orange monstrosity jumpsuit. It would take a few hours before an Anbu would come to Iruka to find and tie up the boy. For some reason, Naruto wondered. Iruka always finds him under half an hour searching the whole village, even less than half an hour as years go by. And Naruto was not in shock when the man found her location, however she was surprised by how quite, under her estimation, Team Kakashi must have arrived 4 days ago and a trip from Konoha from the village she is currently on takes 5 to 6 days. Naruto had a silly suspicion that the man had placed a tracking seal on her or had distance and low action radar on Naruto. As of reading her mind, in truth, the blonde had what she was thinking written all over her face. A hard habit ever since young. I know it is you, Naruto. I know it's you even if you use transformation jutsu. I lived with you for far too long to not recognize a plot orchestrated by you. Iruka sighed. I am only doing it to protect myself and my family. Iruka-sensei, I am very sorry. I caused you to feel distress for me. I can't thank you enough for what you have done. I wanted to take you but I could never separate you from your job. You love your job, I cannot simply be selfish and take you with me away from that damn village. Naruto burst into tears as she ran up to hug her father figure. You knucklehead. You're like a daughter to me. For my job in the village, I would pick you first. What village? What job? Those are not important, Iruka said as he patted Naruto's back in comforting. Iruka-sensei. No, Iruka-san. Thank you, Naruto smiled as she wiped the tears from her eyes. You knucklehead, Iruka smiled as he patted the blonde's head. I have so much to tell you. But first, a family dinner would happen later. I still need to cook and get ready for it. Hope about living here with me, Iruka-sensei? We could set up a dojo to teach self-defense for the people in this village that pays low and affordable? And slowly make it into a school. The kids need not necessarily become a ninja, but enough to have knowledge how to defend themselves, what is chakra, and the history of elemental nation, Naruto offered as she motioned Iruka to enter her house. Optimistic as always, Iruka chuckled. You're living with me, it's high time that I would pay for your patience and generosity you gave me for years. Plus, this place is quite far from the village by civilian standard, Naruto said before she talked about what had happened while she and Iruka cooked dinner together. Iruka was dumbfounded to the fact that the tempura almost got burned when she had the news of Kurama in human form and a girl married to Itachi and had a child with another one on the way, as well as Kushina and Minato alive. But he was happy for the blonde. No one else deserved it other than Naruto. It's the least this world's unfairness would do to make up with her, Iruka thought. So Naruto, aren't you going to remove your transformation jutsu? Iruka asked as they both washed the dishes. Naruto paused. I thought you figured it out already, Iruka-sensei. I turned into a girl. A real girl, yeah it sucks. Especially when the time of the month visits, Naruto deadpanned. Iruka paused before he smirked. Serves you right, it must be the gods punishing you for that ridiculous jutsu you made. Iruka teased lightly making Naruto huffed. Hey, that ridiculous jutsu knocked out many of my opponents. Including the Thunder of Chakra, Otsuki Kagaya. It created an opening for me to land a punch on her face. Not even Sasuke Tomi's dumb Sharingan could do, TT Ibeo. Naruto gloated, Iruka face faltered but sighed. You knucklehead, he laughed lightly. Hey, Iruka? Thank you, Naruto smiled. It's no problem Naru Imouto, Iruka smiled. Kurama sat down as she ate some dango, occasionally bite some on Itachi's. She could not help but feel like something is off, though she shrugged it off. Ka-chan, Tu-san. Some kids bullied me this afternoon, Mamuro said, making the two looked at him. Mamuro lowered his head, preparing for a scolding as he continued. It was okay if they would blow their stupid remarks at me but they were bullying some weak kids as well so I punched them. I think I broke a rib on one of them and 4 had lost some teeth or 2, Mamuro finished. Bawahahahaha, that's my boy. Yeah, show them that we are not someone to be messed around with. Show them who is superior, don't let me lose face. As the prince of the demon world you must be cool, strong, and dominant, you don't let this pesky humans push you around. Kurama gleefully clapped her hands as she pulled the surprised and embarrassed kid in her arms. I don't think we should encourage him to beat up around those kids. Being an Uchiha and half a demon, he would naturally be above others, it's in his genes to do so. But can't be that much violent, Itachi reprimanded, making Kurama glare at him. So what? Let his instincts run free. Kurama argued. No, as I can see that he would be spirited and free will, I would not stop him for doing that. But I would put my foot down when he would run around running wild and being unrestrained. It's not that I am being strict, but he must be balanced with his personality, Itachi said. Kurama huffed as she nuzzled her nose on her son's hair. Her fox ears twitched on top of her head. She leaned on Itachi's chest as the Uchiha feeds some dango to his wife and child. Let's try it then. It's time you start training, Mamoru, Kurama hummed as she let her 9 tails wrap around her family to keep them warm. The next morning, Naruto went to town, buying some food to restock, since it's already autumn and winter will come soon. She smiled and greeted everyone she passed by, tugging at her yellow cloak closer as chilling breeze blew by. She felt someone was following her, but she kept calm as she approached a store to buy some fishes, fruits, and other spices, and tea leaves, lots and lots of tea leaves. While on the way, she could feel eyes staring at her vanished, making her relaxed a bit. When she entered her house, she placed the grocers on the cabinets and fridge that has preservation seals on them, smiling in satisfaction seeing them all full. Now, all is left is to harvest her pumpkins in her yard and she is ready for winter seasons. So, removing her hair dye and contact lenses, she pulled her blonde hair into a messy ponytail, letting her bangs and fringe framed her face and got her apron, gloves, and garden scissors, as well as her basket and head out, humming a small tune as she harvested her vegetables. When she put them on her basket, she effortlessly carried it. Naruto, a cold, surprised, and disbelief voice called out, making Naruto froze. The basket in her hand dropped to the ground, startled as she was found out by an outsider. She stared at those eyes that she was so familiar. She clearly saw unreadable emotion swimming on those usually stoic and emotionless orbs. But now, damn, what are those seals doing? They are not doing their job, TT Ibeo. Is that really you? The owner of the voice asked again. Yes, it's me. Naruto answered slowly as she gazed at the person she knew too well. Breeze blew by, making both their hair and clothes sway in the wind. It's really me, she confirmed as she locked gazes at the person that was slowly walking in front of her. Kankuro? Naruto was startled when she saw the sand puppet master and the brother of her best friend, Gaara. So the intel really is correct, he said before he delivered a punch on her head. Ow, what did you do that for? Naruto gritted her teeth as she rubbed her head. You made us worried, you moron. Disappearing just like that? Kankuro snorted. Naruto rolled her eyes as she picked up the fallen vegetables and basket. One could take so much. Gaara had reached his limits long ago before the pent-up anger and hatred was released. I may smile and act like nothing happened, but that does not mean that I do not feel other emotions other than happiness and contentedness. Shouldering so much for years now, it's bound to crush someone, Naruto said. I see. You are so strong and unbeatable, from zero to hero. Like nothing could sway you other than Sasuke. It made me forgot that you are also a human, Kankuro said. Naruto only smiled. You are alone? Naruto asked. Kankuro nodded. Gaara sent me here to check. What should I tell him? Kankuro asked. In other words, this is none of my business, but from the two of you and my brother, who should I choose? Tell him nothing, Naruto said. Kankuro sighed before he waved farewell and left. Do you think he would tell? Iruka asked as he walked out of the house wearing black sweater and blue pants. I am not sure. I don't know Kankuro that much, but he knew how to keep his mouth shut, Naruto said as she walked in. 3 weeks have passed and snow started falling. Naruto headed to the woods and started collecting loads of firewood in which she forgot to collect earlier. Just as she headed back, the pile of twigs, branches, and stumps was lifted from her arms. She blinked and stared at the firewood and spotted something. She whirled around. Gaara? She called, and lo! The former Jinchurikis of Ichibi Shukaku and current Kazekage step out from the shadows. Still wearing his maroon robes and the oversized peanut-like gourd strap on his back, he looks exactly like the last time Naruto saw him, which was almost 6 years no, though his hair is more longer and more spiky as well as messy. He did not wear any cloak, so the snowflakes gated on his hair, shoulders, and gourd. Naruto. Gaara walked forward. Did Kankuro tell you? Naruto asked. Gaara closed his eyes for a moment and then opened them, evaluating Naruto. He didn't. He haven't said a word. It made me suspicious, of course, I had placed Baku in charge of Suna for a while and came here to check it myself. Gaara answered after a few seconds. I see. Come, let's talk to my house. There is bound to be a blizzard in a few hours, Naruto said as she led Gaara back to her house. Iruka is out with some friends. Make yourself at home, Naruto said as she headed to the basement to pile up the wood she collected. She put her cloak away as she started boiling the water to prepare for tea. You're not in disguise, are you? Gaara asked as he sat down and watched as Naruto busied herself. No, actually. It was a funny story, Naruto said as she leaned on the counter and waited for the water to boil. Kyuubi is no longer inside you. I can't sense him, Gaara stated. Naruto smiled and nodded. That is true. I wanted to let Kurama out, but it cost the both of us our genders, Naruto said as she gestured her body. I see. Gaara looked not that surprised. Naruto poured the boiled water into the teapot and placed it on the tray as well as the snacks and serves it to the both of them before taking a seat in front of Gaara. Don't be surprised that I am not surprised with this news. After all, you are not the most unpredictable knucklehead ninja, Gaara said as he blew softly on the steaming tea and took a sip. No longer a shinobi. I resigned. It's probably one of the reasons why I am rusty, Naruto chuckled. Gaara gestured at the photo hanging on the wall. The redhead woman is Kurama, beside her is Itachi, whom was now her husband. Yes, she brought him back to life along with my parents. Naruto smiled at Gaara's surprised look. Yeah, pretty surprising. I just took an undercover name of Uzumaki Natsumi, whom was Uzumaki Naruto's wife, Naruto said as she took a sip on her tea. Aren't you tired? Gaara asked. The of pretending, hiding, and holding back was left unsaid. I am, but what choice do I have? I don't. I think it's best if I live like this, Ibeo, Naruto said. You're living a life of paranoia which is not living at all. Are you satisfied with that? Gaara asked. Are they satisfied? They caused me to live like this. But did that stop you? Gaara asked. Naruto smiled but did not say anything. The two former Jinchurikis just sat there in silence, basking in each other's company. The occasional clinking of the teacup softly hitting the table could be heard every once in a while. What's your agenda then? Naruto asked. I'm going to find a wife. The council insists me to do so. Many just want to jump in the opportunity, either for status, money, or just plain obsession, Gaara said. So you found an excuse to escape those old cots? What about that Matsuri girl? Naruto asked, amused. She belonged to the third category, Gaara stated flatly. I see. Naruto smirked as she drank the tea. So I was thinking, if you would be up to it, Gaara said, making Naruto spit her drink in shock. Akai, who was unfortunate to be in range, was sprayed. I'm sorry, what? Naruto asked, blinking in shock. Be my wife, Gaara simply said. Naruto was outright speechless. This guy serious? You don't just blurt that out of nowhere, okay? You're going to shock me, mute, Ibeo. He even said that with a straight face. Be my wife, he says. Why don't you just ask a random kid to be your child as well while you're at it? Naruto screamed in her heart. This village would be monitored, planted spies all around to find your real location. This disguise and getaway of yours won't last. You're bound to be found out. While you are now a citizen, it wouldn't stop others in recruiting you. You're going to need a real sanctuary, Naruto. I do hope that you aren't planning on living in a runaway life, Gaara said as he leaned back and crossed his arms. So that's it, you would get a wife and I will get a place to stay. A win-win situation for the both of us. But you should have known that the council would demand an heir from you, right? Naruto raised a brow. Gaara sighed. That is no longer their business. They assigned me to find a wife. Although having a child wasn't mentioned, it does not mean that I would follow all of their orders and demands. But this is the good for the village. Having a spouse being well treated, safe, and strong would make the villagers feel at ease. If the spouse is sickly or injured, then there would be a reason to kick the leader off the seat. If they could not take care of their property, then how much more about the village? This is a common knowledge to all, Gaara said. So I have been told. So what about this identity of mine? Naruto asked. Gaara could only closed his eyes. If you suddenly reveal yourself after the wedding, of course the council would be one of the first to be aware of this. After being revealed of your identity, we would simply say that it is your decision to not show yourself to them and no one can complain. You're one of the strongest ninja in history. That status alone could shut them up, Gaara flatly said. I know. But are you really okay with this? Naruto asked. We treat each other like siblings, so I don't think there would be any problem with that matter. The way we address with one another would not really change that much. Only the view of the people, Gaara said as he stared at Naruto's eyes dead on. Or would you rather be with the Uchiha? You are well aware of his desire to restore his clan and make them stronger. We both know what would happen when Uchiha genes and Uzumaki genes combined results too, Gaara said. Naruto nodded. Honestly, this is very fast and shocking, even for me, Gaara. But, what choice do I have? It seems I have to agree, Naruto said before she sighed and stood up to make some dinner. The two did not say anything after that. The next day when Kushina swung by to pick Naruto up, Kurama is in a labor. Kushina was very surprised to find Gaara there, but it was soon forgotten when Naruto hurried off with her. Gaara stayed at the house. A few hours later, Kurama just gave birth to her second child, Uchiha Makoto, a baby girl that has red hair. Though she was energized a few minutes later. So imagine their shock when Naruto dropped the bomb on them. Naru-chan, I don't think I heard you, could you please repeat that? Minato asked as he used his pinky to clean his ear. I want to marry Gaara, Naruto said flatly. What? Why so sudden Ibane? We haven't even met the kid who stole your heart. Or did he stole your chastity that you are so eager to marry him? Is that a Ibane? Kushina waved her arms around making both Gaara and Naruto's face turn black. Ka-chan, you have no idea how much I want to vomit blood from the idea you're initiating. Honestly, where did you even got those ideas? You better stop reading novel, Ibeo, Naruto said with ashen face. Vomit blood in idiom means extremely upset, offended or in disbelief to the point of vomiting blood in anger. It's not like that, Mrs. Namikaze, Gaara said as he composed himself. I don't mind really. I mean, Gaara and Naruto had a good relationship and got along with each other since they are genins. They are probably more closer than the Konoha 12. Plus, they both lived the same lives. Iruka said. Kurama nodded as well and elbowed Itachi, forcing the poor Uchiha to agree as well. Frankly, he did not care, but from the glare Kurama is sending him, does he have a room for arguments? You see, mother, father. Naruto glanced at Gaara before she began explaining of the situation. I was going to brought this up to you, Naru-chan. But it seems that I worried for nothing, Minato said, eyeing Gaara. He briefly remembered this case cage during the war, powerful and bright mind. He protected Naruto on more than one occasion and Minato worked without hindrance together with Gaara, so he has no objections. Fine, I agree, Ibane. But you must treat my daughter well, ya hear me, young man. Kushina grinned widely, her eyes held a dark threatening glint and a dark aura surrounded her being, making everyone inch away. You have my word, Gaara agreed, mentally comparing the terrifying meter of Kushina and Shukaku. So far, Kushina won hands down. This shows her overprotectiveness and mother love. Naruto decided to come back with Gaara to the sand to settle the trouble first before fully moving there. It was Iruka whom insisted on coming, trailed behind them. When they entered the hidden sands gate, they were to proceed without much hassle seeing as the case cages with them. Your guards are pretty laid back, aren't they? Not even checking their own case cage, Naruto said as she glanced at the gate guards. They knew it was me, Gaara simply said. We live in a nation that runs by military and ninja system, Gaara. May I remind you that all ninjas knew transformation jutsu. You haven't thought of that possibility? Then you're a fool, Naruto said. Iruka nodded in agreement. Seems like it, however, we have a special jutsu in order for the cages to be identified if they are genuine or not, Gaara said. Naruto, having the competitive Uzumaki genes running in her veins, did not wanting to be outdone, so she just shamelessly shrugged and told him with a flat tone. You can never be too careful, Gaara, Naruto said. Right. Say, the sun is already setting. The council are probably waiting for you. Naruto changed the subject as they entered the case cage building. I'll just wait here outside, you kids can go in, Iruka said as he motioned the two. Gaara had his scroll that has his case cage robes and hat on, unsealed it and wore it before they entered the council meeting room in which they are waiting for them. Naruto walked in behind the redhead as she ignored the confused people inside, choosing to stand beside him and stared. Case Cage-sama, you returned. They greeted almost nonchalantly, though their attention is on Naruto. Case Cage, if I may so bold, who is this young lady? An old hag, an elder perhaps, said after seeing that the fifth case cage had no intention on explaining himself. My soon-to-be wife, who else? Gaara asked nonchalantly as he crossed his arm and leaned on his chair like he was discussing the weather outside. Naruto smiled playfully as she leaned her elbows on the chair with her chin rested on the back of her palm as she raised her other hand in a peace sign with her right eye closed and her tongue sticking out, acting smug, arrogant, and cute at the same time. The council stared at Naruto in shock. Case cage, it seemed like. You found a spouse, Baki said, staring at Naruto. All the shinobi clan leaders knew that this woman is not to be taken lightly. She is standing right there, but her presence is not there. Such high caliber. She doesn't seem much. Too arrogant and ugly. A fat civilian from the civilian council blurted out. Naruto raised a brow. Her eyes curved into an amused smile. Gaara dear, Sunagakura really is a beautiful and magical place. Why magical? Because Suna has a pig that can speak human words. Isn't it mystical? Naruto sighed deeply, as if she was moved. The Konohagakure's councils has Banshee that likes to scream out words but mostly there to make others suffer ear damage. It's my first time to see a talking humane pig. He has unique character, no? Shameless and clueless to the extreme. If 2 of the 5 main villages has such mystical creatures, I wonder about the other villages? Next thing you know, Tortoise could win a race against the green beast of Konoha in Mizu. Thanks, Gaara-kun, for bringing me here. I appreciate it. Naruto smiled sarcastically as she held her chest, as if she was extremely touched. The talking pig of Suna, the screaming banshee of Konoha, and the possible racing tortoise of Mizu. Who's the shameless one now? Lying without even stuttering. And why does it seem like you're flattering us and making us turn to villain instead? That's some great skills you got there. Just who do you think you are? The pig, I mean, the civilian council got angry at this remark. Why does it seem to be that you are angry? I was just marveling how it's so wonderful to be in Suna. Why have you mistaken my good intention? Naruto sighed as she wiped the corner of her eye, making it even more irritating in the civilian council's eyes. And to who am I? Naruto raised her hand and removed her contact lens and wiped away the makeup on her cheeks by the back of her hand, revealing the whisker marks, and her chakra made the dye on her hair come off. I may be a female now but I am still me. Naruto flashed a familiar foxy grin. I am Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, remaining heir of both prestigious Uzumaki and Namikaze clan. Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Student of the Toad Sage Jiraiya. Godson of the Slug Princess and 5th Hokage Senju Tsunade. Reincarnation of Asura. The son of Otsuki Hagoromo the Sage of the 6th Path. And grandson of Otsuki Kagaya the Funder of Chakra. Soon-to-be wife of your 5th Case Cage, the savior of elemental nations. And of you? Naruto gave them all a critical eye that held disdain as she kept her chin up, crossing her arms as she leaned on the chair that Gaara occupies. Tell me, lowly civilian council, which of these status can you afford to offend? Naru asked arrogantly. People like him makes me sick, Naruto sneered. Also, this is a matter of shinobi business, none of which you have any qualifications to butt in and enter. Care to give us explanation? I'm sure like every village has a rule in which they have long forgotten. Councils give advice, the cage has the right to accept or refuse these advice, none of which anyone has the power to tell them otherwise. A cage rule the village. A cage uphold and raise the village. A cage protects the village. And most of all, a cage is the supreme leader of their own territory. Councils are just errand boys. They're just simple displays. Tell me, what clarifications do you have to show off your arrogance? Naruto asked, raising a brow, though her eyes, they were slits like a predator. Even if you are asking questions, how can we answer when the way you look at us like you'll tear us apart if we say a word? I am totally speechless. This girl is too domineering, too powerful, too suffocating. Like a leader she portrays she is. Case Cage-sama, what kind of person have you brought in our village? Konoha better fetch this person away or we'll really suffer from her tongue lashing. The council thought. Answer. This princess is speaking to you. Naruto roared, clearly showing that she would not let anyone walk all over her. Earlier you spoke out of bounds without being asked to. Now that I am asking you, where have your courage gone off to? Eaten by dogs? Naruto asked, seeing as no one dared utter any word, smirking as she hammered them into submission. Damn you Kurama, This is all your fault. Your habits rubbed on me too much. Though, no wonder Kurama likes terrorizing people, it's quite fun. Ops Naruto thought inwardly. Nah tilde. Naruto hummed as she walked next to Gaara towards the cage mansion, complete aware of the envious look shot towards her. It's probably their hands as they were entwined, Kankuro's fault, not. The accused culprit. You shameless woman, still dare lump your mistakes on me. It was you who tangled yourself on my wire like a worm on a fish line and hook. I am pretty sure everyone saw that. Got a lot of confidence on marking my name with black paint. No one will laugh at you if you just admit that you are curious. No one would definitely laugh, #men. Say Gaara, isn't that your student? Over there, watching us with binoculars? Naru asked with raised a brow as she nudged Gaara, giving him a pointed look and glanced at the alley 5 meters behind them. Ignore her, she's been doing that for almost 8 years now, Gaara said. Naruto gave him an admiring look and pity. You poor soul. Must have been hard for you, to be constantly monitored by your own student. It must be creepy during class session, ya know. Yes, she's taking this decade Best Stalker award. She's very devoted with her job if I say so myself, Naruto said, not even sounding sincere on pitying and feeling sorry. And is that a notebook? And a camera? Man, you're not a celebrity in your past life, are you? Naruto asked as she ran her motor mouth she got from her mother, Uzumaki Kushina the hot-blooded habanero. One would mistake you for a mute if you don't speak. Honestly, your annoying level meter had doubled up now that you're the opposite gender of the human species, Gaara sighed. What? Oh no you don't, mister. May I remind you that, and blah 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 blah. Gaara-sama, I think it's best if you don't contradict her. Women are mysterious creatures. Women are always right, as men supports. A happy wife is a happy life. Take my advice. This is what happens when a woman argues. They talk like there is no tomorrow. You might not be killed in the battlefield, but you'll be nagged to death when you wife, especially Naruto. Begin her explanation on why you are wrong and why they are right. Iruka said sagely. Gaara raised a brow and took a glance at Naruto who rambled on and on about God knows what. And where did you hear that advice from, if I may ask? Gaara asked, raising his non-existent eyebrow. From an experienced and brave individual. The Yellow Flash himself, Namikaze Minato. Iruka said. Gaara could only nod and sigh. The experienced and brave individual. I may be the 4th Hokage but I dare not disobey my wife. Don't take my advice for granted if you want to spare yourself from the nagging the Uzumaki has. It's in their genes. Naruto entered the market and she started buying groceries, forcing the 2 behind her to carry them as she carried a few by herself before sealing them in scrolls. Completely aware that all activity in the market stopped just to watch them. Naruto hummed as she inspected the apples in her hand, placing them on the basket afterward and moved to the next fruit stand after paying for the fruits she bought. After that they head back to the mansion. Finally, the stupid strings came off. It's about time. Naruto smiled widely as she turned to the shadows. You know, even if you try, I can see your headband glinting in the light. Best come out, you're already busted, Naruto said as if she was scolding a child. Matsuri came out. The twitching in her fake smile, anger, jealousy, and envy clear of her eyes. Naruto could only sigh. Typical fangirls. They would do anything for the power of love, bullshit ye, katakana middle.I and katakana middle.I, age. The typical fangirls. That's because you're originally a boy. How can you even understand feminine feeling? Oh, the original boy turned girl. It's not my fault I turned into a girl alright. It's the seal. The accused seal. I've been wronged. Don't lump your incompetence on me, human. Nobody told you that you can learn seals so easily and used it without experiment first. Serves you right, Gaara-sensei. Matsuri glanced at Gaara then to Naruto who narcissistically checked herself out in the nearby mirror. Did she just ignored me? What a bitch. Matsuri raged inside. Naruto you idiot. Stop provoking everyone you come across. Kurama this is all your fault. The 2 males yelled in their mind. The certain Biju. Shut up. In order for my host to not be bullied, she must be a bully herself. How do you know about a war between women when it comes to love? Hello. I have been inside 2 Uzumaki women with attractive mates, of course I know of their struggles. It's not my fault she took the kunoichi lessons I gave her like a sponge. Iruka-san, and this is? Matsuri turned to Naruto, who walked over her, on a thinking pose as she examined Matsuri before beaming a smile. So you are my fiancé's student. I am Natsumi. Pleasure to meet you. Matsuri-san. Naruto extended a hand, clearly grinning widely. Nice to meet you as well. Matsuri's voice is uneven as the emotions on her eyes burned brightly. Say, I know I am beautiful and all, but you're kind of scaring me with that look. It looks like you wanted something from me. Sorry dear, you see, I already has a fiancé and I could not give you that opportunity. I am sorry to break your heart but I don't swing that way, Naruto said sadly as she patted Matsuri's hand as if she was grieving and pity the girl, but her eyes held like laughter and mischievousness in them. What the hell? I am not, you have mistaken. Matsuri tried to explain and clear her name as a lesbian. Not to worry dear, I will not think of you any differently. I saw you an hour ago following this and seemed to stare at my body. It's creepy but I can't deny that my beauty would even bend women. Many had suffered the same so it's not that much of a problem but you got to stay strong. You will eventually overcome this, Naruto dramatically said as a tear dropped to her left eye. Matsuri's almost vomit blood here and there from that comment. This woman is crazy, a narcissistic bitch, and shamelessly lying without even blinking. What good actor? The three and the newly arrived Baki, Konkuros, and Tamari thought. Natsumi, I will make you pay for humiliating me in front of Gaara. He's mine, 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 Matsuri's roared in her mind. Do not worry, you would still be my fired but could you tone down the desire in your eyes a bit? It's quite freaky, Naruto said calmly. This desire is not for you, you slut. Matsuri's face turned gloomy and stormy. This woman is good with words, the others thought. That's right girl, be angry, I'll make your intestine turned green in anger and vomit blood. I won't let anyone hurt me. You are clearly plotting against me. Bring it on, I can take you on or else my name is not Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, Datbeo. Naruto sat down on the rooftop of the Cage mansion, gazing up at the huge and beautiful moon and stars. Gaara? Naruto called as the redhead approached from behind. What is it? Gaara asked. Naruto turned her head to look at the redhead standing beside her. Do you think I am too mean? That I am not me? My actions and words earlier. I just couldn't stop it, you know. Naruto sighed as she brought her knees to her chest and hugged them, resting her chin on her knees. I have been pretending since I turned 5 years old. Smile even if I am hurting, grinning to hide my pain. Be optimistic even if the situation is not salvageable. I forced myself to be brash and an idiot when I am clearly not. Naruto let a tear slip from her eyes. I don't understand why my mask just cracked off. I get the fact that earlier I snapped when I got reminded by your people of Konoha. That was uncalled for but I don't like this feeling Gaara. I don't like the feeling that I am holding myself too high and look down on them. I am judging them and comparing them. That's not me Gaara. Naruto sobbed. The redhead Cage did not know what to do. And the thing is, even if I don't really feel that much sad, I am crying right now. I guess it's from the piled up emotions I locked over the years. I'm pathetic, Naruto sobbed. I'm truth. I am very concerned about your sudden change of attitude. Believe me that I am uncomfortable at first but I do find it satisfying that you are finally venting your anger. You are letting loose of that anger inside you. Gaara awkwardly placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder. But it's not alright. Gaara, this isn't me. I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't know what to do, Naruto cried harder. Naruto, I really don't blame you about your actions at all. I do understand that you are very protective and all, and I am glad I am one of your precious people, however I can't pretend that I like being around your masked self. I prepared myself that seeing the real you would really be unexpected, however, it would give me the reassurance that the grief you felt would be set free. It's not healthy to keep it inside you. Gaara said. I did not want to be something I am not, yet who I am. Naruto hiccuped. You're a person, the most strongest ninja alive. Your parents so are daughter, you're Kurama's Jinchuriki's and first partner. And my best friend, Gaara answered. And your very own person. You can do what you want because it's your life, isn't that what you told me years ago? So why don't you take your advice yourself? Gaara added. Naruto wiped her tears away. You're right. Thanks Gaara, Naruto nodded as she looked up the stars. I will be free, no more pretending, the others could screw themselves. But I will fight my way out of your fangirls though. Wanting to take my place and scheme, Naruto laughed. You're worried about annoyances? Gaara looked at the blonde incredulously. No, I'm just worried they'd cry out a river and flood Sunagakura once I am done with them. Remember Gaara, this is a battle of women. We may have come to an agreement to marry each other for each other's own gain and benefit, but I will not stand in the side to see my husband being harassed by those shameless bitches. That's a promise Datbeo, Naruto said with fire in her eyes. You do that but no physical violence, Gaara said, feeling a bad premonition. Who needs fist anyways? I may be my mother's daughter but I am my father's daughter too. And daddy loves dealing with people using words. It's fun that way he said and I agree. Though I prefer using fists, but I can't, these girls are too weak. Just wait Gaara, watch in the side and let Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto deal with them. Naruto said willfully. Then you do that. Venting your anger should do you good. I won't say the same on the other side though. Gaara began lighting candles to the unfortunate souls that became the blonde's target. Lighting candles. Feeling sorry or pity. Wishing you luck to survive the calamity. I'll definitely use my beauty to make them go green. Sakura used to tell me that when you have beauty, you must gloat and not be humble about it. It would make your competitors feel insecure and cut the competition in half. Naruto smiled widely. The next morning, Kankuro, Iruka, and Temari are eating their breakfast while Gaara already left for work. It's already 9 in the morning. Suddenly, the door opened and out stepped a gorgeous orange-haired goddess. Her beauty is enough to cause the downfall of the nations. Kankuro spat the milk he was drinking. What the hell? Who is this walking temptation? Is she planning on chalking me to death? Nah, Naruto. Is that you? Temari stuttered in disbelief. Of course it's me. I am trying to pave my way and keep the fangirls in line, and for Gaara not to lose face. The cage should deserve the best of the best. Including the perfect wife, Naruto grinned mischievously. She let her hair down and in curls with a silver wine-designed headband. She wore soft pink eyeshadows and black eyeliner, pink lipstick, blush, pearl earrings and white kimono with yellow oni and orange sash. There are lots of autumn leaves patterns on the skirt of her kimono and the sleeves. She wore cream brown undergarments. She looked like a fairy that came out of the painting, so enchanting. And mostly, she had a bento box on her hand. Later, wish me luck you know. I'm going to give Gaara his snacks. Naruto waved as she head off. Naruto walking down the crowded street caused a commotion. With her hair color and choose clothing that reflects the sun, she looked like a flame in the dark. Everyone stop what they are doing and stare at the deity that passed them by. The fangirl's jaw dropped and eyes wide as they stared at their enemy in disbelief and unfairness. Naruto, like a vixen she is, giggled mischievously and tauntingly. She walked with confidence and elegance. My mother is one of the most beautiful women in her prime and my father the most handsome in Konoha. So of course I'd be a beauty. Thankfully, Ka-chan had me learn geisha dances, ways, and movements. Who knew those years of torture would pay off? Got to thank Ka-chan later. Be ready Gaara, I am dragging you in my prank, best prepare aspirin Datbeo. Naruto smiled widely as she entered the cage tower. Oh Gaara I brought you your favorite snacks. Hope you like them Naruto grinned as she watched the ninjas in the cage's office jaw dropped. Even Gaara was stupefied. Natsumi, what the hell are you doing walking around in that? Gaara narrowed his eyes. Naruto raised a brow. I'm showing off my beautiful body of course. I am announcing it in the world that I am the best wife for you. Naruto declared loudly and shamelessly. And you, lusting after you cage's fiancé. Have some shame. Naruto pointed at the bleeding noses. Well you shouldn't show off in the first place. We may be ninjas but we're men as well. After that fiasco, Naruto head home after she gave Gaara his snacks and promised to come back to give him his lunch. Now, Naruto let a shadow clone cook for lunch while she strolled around. Pranking and teasing everyone mildly yet playfully, flashing her adorable and devastating looks that can trample a village, she got away with every single one of them. Gosh, why does she got infected with Kurama's tendency to be playful, Ibeo. Ah, it's almost been forever since I had this fun. Pranking is one of my hobbies as a child, ttebeo. I almost forgot how fun it was, for me at least. Naruto smiled as she walked aimlessly and arrived at the playground before she got abducted from behind, tied up, and dragged into an abandoned warehouse. You guys have no originality, Naruto stated as she was dumped on the chair, only for it to give out since one leg is missing. Naruto was floored with their stupidity. Filled square D***. Gaara? How did they even survive on their first mission if they are this stupid? Even I don't possess that IQ at young age. How did Sanagakure teach their students in academy? Not only you are ripping a page from a typical clique television and novels, but you are also incompetent. I mean, who the fuck possesses eyes of a blind dog, can't even see that the chair lost a leg? Why don't I shove you here, see if you don't complain, Naruto rambled. Shut up, you are so annoying, one of the fangirls growled. Again with the cliches, Naruto sighed. Think you're so beautiful, huh? You bitch? Another fangirl spit. I know I am beautiful. Gaara was in love at first sight and choose me. Does that prove that I am more beautiful? If you are better than me then he should have choose you. However, Gaara know how to pick a whale from a pond of shrimps. I am just too outstanding and stunning to be left alone without a barrier from this tainted world. It's probably because I am too beautiful to be shared with the world. So there is no need to say, I think, I don't like it. You should change it into, everyone knows, Naruto said narcissistically. A comical arrows that has, she's right, struck into the gathering fangirl's heart. Less than, making it bleed. I said shut up, I can't let you have Gaara. You should step over my dead body before you can have him. Another fangirl yelled, causing the others to agree. If I listen to you and stop speaking as well as kill you and step over your dead body. Wouldn't that make me lose face? I earn my face not lose them, unlike you. You can't even tie a rope properly, are you even kunoichi? How did you even survive the war? Naruto stood up and dusted herself. You guys are really shameless, abducting someone and tried to force the fiancé to call the marriage off. The leftover Bijudama did not create a pit on the landscape, but to the mentality of people as well. How incredible, Naruto said sarcastically. It was not like this was the first time that it happened to her. Even as a child in the academy the fangirls kidnapped him and beat him up as threat to leave their Sasuke-kun alone. So Naruto is an expert in dealing with this infatuated abyssal pitheads. Once they saw their crush, their mentality goes offline. Suddenly, the door opened and Matsuri walked in. Naruto then smiled widely before she swiftly took out eyedroppers from her sleeves and dropped a few on her eyes. She then dramatically ran towards Matsuri and hid behind her. Matsuri-chan, you really came, and in time too. Even if I rejected your growing affections on me, you still came ahead before my fiancé does. I still do apologies, I cannot accept you feelings. 8 still love Gaara very much. You won't hate me right? Woo tilde, Naruto cried. This bitch is at it again. I am not lesbian you whore. Matsuri roared in her heart. She really wants to vomit an ocean of blood and drown Naruto with it. What the hell? Matsuri-san swings that way? The fangirls started inching away from them. They're buying it. They're buying it. Now time for my escape. Deal with this mess you little brat. Dare try and intimidate me? Why don't you intimidate Kurama as well, see if you survive. Don't take a yard after giving an inch. Limit yourself. Naruto shamelessly thought before she sprinted out of there. They're actually buying it. What the hell? Matsuri panicked. It's not what you think. Matsuri said. It's okay Matsuri-san, we understand. It's high time you come out of the closet as well. The truth will set you free, one of the fangirls said as the others nodded. Where did our sister bonds go? Blew away in the wind. You're quick to throw me off board and set course to another direction. This is, Natsumi you are sowing discord. Unacceptable. No no. You know what, I think I should give Kurama loads of meat for her to eat. She taught me a lot and I used it to deflect these girl. Ha ha ha. As expected from the kitsune. Naruto grinned widely before she head to the cage tower, poor Paishe dirtying her clothes, messy her hair, crying like she had been wronged and running towards the cage tower. Gaara koi, Gaara koi. Naruto opened the door and dove into Gaara's lap, once again interrupting the meeting inside and poor Paishe crying louder as she did not close the door. You must seek justice for me. I have been wronged. Your supporters does not want me to marry you. Does not want me to be with you. Woo tilde I did not do anything wrong. I don't want to part from you. Gaara koi, seek justice for me. Naruto cried in distress. Natsumi. Calm down, calm down. I'll do something about it. Gaara sighed and patted the girl's head. Honestly Naruto, stop dragging me into the mess you are creating, you're making my headache worse. This is the battle between women. Leave us men out of it. We did not sign up to participate. Wonder what you've been doing today. Gaara sighed inwardly but was slightly amused when he could see a horde of his fangirl outside and on the shadows on the buildings with their binoculars. Naruto out up the act more and wailed loudly. Shameless woman, stop trying to frame us. We're exposing your true colors. The fangirls bitterly swallowed the blood that was threatening to be spat out in anger. I am not an idiot. I'll lose face if I fell into your so-so traps. Want to drag me to the muddy water? I'll pull you in so we can drown together, Ibeo. Naruto could not help but twitch her eye in disbelief. Is Gaara alright? Putting her with his fangirls. In a sake of assisting the kunoichi class. Gaara, just how bored are you really? This fiancé is not satisfied. Come here, I promise I would beat to death. Naruto yelled in her heart before she opened the door, and as expected, glares were sent to her. Top of the morning, class. I am sorry I am right on time. Naruto shamelessly said even if she is late by 5 minutes. Sensei, you are late, a student corrected. You guys hair just too early, plus, you did not begin your lesson yet so I am not late, Naruto said with a smile, causing everyone to feel annoyed. Right then, my name is Yukamura Natsumi. Kunoichi lesson. Naruto began, after knowing that the fangirls lead by Matsuri would not help her in this task. The first thing a kunoichi has is a fit and healthy body, in other words, no diet. Naruto said sternly as a few girls shrunk their heads. You need to eat as much food as you can, you will burn the cholesterol when you're training. And a kunoichi is serious with her job. A ninja is no laughing matter, it is not a place of sunshine, rainbows, fairy tale, and Prince Charming. Wake up, even if we are at peace, there is still a huge possibility that you will have to kill and stain your hands. Naruto said as she stared at everyone. But Yukamura-sensei, a kunoichi is not as strong as a shinobi. A female student wearing makeup pointed out. You're living under a rock or something? Should I point out Sabaku no Tamari, the wind mistress of this village? Or the blood-owed habanero of Konoha Uzumaki Kushina? Slug princess and Godem Hokage Senju Tsunade? Mizukage Terumi Mei? Pink blossom Haruno Sakura? Naruto raised a brow at the child's stupidity. If they can achieve that strength then we can too. We cannot be inferior with the men. We women must be superior and have a same standing as man. If you aim to be stronger and have someone you want to protect, only then you can become strong. A woman, especially a kunoichi, who relies on men is weak. If you want to be in the spotlight and be respected, you must be strong. That is what our nation's system is. Naruto declared passionately. Sensei is right. The girls nodded as they listened attentively. Now, a kunoichi's job is very dangerous. These days, we mostly do minimal stuff and some are medics. However, during wars, kunoichis gather intel from any necessary means. That includes seduction. And by seduction, it means you have to spread your legs. Naruto said bluntly, repeating every word Kurama taught her. It was like a lightning strike on these females' head as they were speechless at her bluntness. That's right. I heard from a friend of mine that during the Third Shinobi War one of her friend had been raped by an enemy shinobi. This caused the kunoichis and kunoichis on training to gasp. That's right. But even then, she managed to gather information even with the condition and the situation she was in. She was left in the wilderness for death, in hopes she would kill herself because of the humiliation. Humiliated and ashamed she returned home and relayed what she found out to the Hokage. That night, she committed suicide. Such a shame actually, she was a good kunoichi, however, civilians could not really understand the life of a shinobi. They discriminate and point, bunch of bastards. They think that we are so easy to bully, throw money in our face and be docile? Hell no. Even if they gave us money to last a year or two of luxury, they would use ninjas, especially kunoichi, like a tool, and do what my close friend dubbed, hired prostitute. Answer to their beck and call, Naruto sneered as she then turned to the children. So unless you wanted to be captured by enemy shinobi and become like their plaything, I suggest you train and become strong. Only then you can defend yourself and avoid being a wilted flower yourself. Civilians' life is short, kids. Male ninja's life is shorter. Out of the tree, female ninjas are shorter, Naruto said before she sat down on the desk, lopping her left leg on her right, showing off her skin-white thighs. Naruto then crossed her arms, emphasizing her chest size. She was currently wearing black skin-tight long-sleeve off-shoulder top, black sleeveless low V-cut fishnet shirt underneath, red flowy skirt that stops above the knee, and black shinobi sandals. She wore black spandex short shorts underneath. Even since staying in the forest village, Naruto did not spend too much time under the sun, other than when she's gardening or training, and even so, it's mostly shaded so her complexion is much paler than her usual tan. Her hair is current on the loose and she wore a black cap that has a red bow on it. She looked like your average teen. And as what typical kunoichi mostly use, quick kill. Not only a few kunoichi I knew, including myself, would use flashy ninjutsu. It's quite easy for kunoichi to win battle by acting. Assassination would be great. Your makeup would be great tools as well. Placing poison on your lipstick, hid senbons on your eyeliner, knockout powder on your blush, and many more. You must utilize your creativity, and you can even go as far as coat your teeth with poison. Of course you, yourself, would take the antidote. Hide weapons on your person and take your target by surprise. With the female's beauty, males will fall into their knees, just don't be so obvious. You prey must approach you first, hook, line, and sinker, girls, Naruto said as she took out her lipstick and pressed the button. A small needles came out. She took another and the color is green, another is purple. Now, with your beauty, you must lure your target. One of the best is genjutsu, to amplify your beauty, sent from flowers, sparkles, and firework sparks as background. Blur anything else and make sure the target's eyes focused on you. You just be casual and dramatic, Naruto said. Can you demonstrate, sensei? A girl asked. And on cue, a team genins came in. The three are males. Naruto demonstrated and soon the three genins froze, their eyes locked on the beautiful goddess sitting casually yet enticing on the table. Everything blurred other than her. Sparkles and flower and bubble background appeared around her as she slowly turned her head to them and gave a gentle smile. Can I help you? Naruto asked sweetly. The genins stammered, beat red, as did everyone in the room. Gaara and the other jonins and some chunin and academy teachers who were curious, watched in the screen, all got nosebleeds, aside from the few ice blocks in the room. Fuck. So that's why she snappled Cage-sama. So this is your technique, Crazy batch, we must learn this technique. Hurry and teach us, the kunoichis in the classroom thought. There she goes again. Can you please stop making us court death and court you? Even if you are that beautiful, stop sparking out desires. We're itching to have you, but we're not crossing Cage-sama's property. Have mercy to us, woman, the males thought furiously. Evildoer. She's doing this on purpose. Konkuro's eyebrow twitched. She's good in acting. Wonder if she is an actress. She's beautiful too, so she's definitely an actress, one in the crowd muttered. Nothing. Nothing. The genins team recognized this woman, Cage-sama's fiancée. They then bolted out of the classroom with blushes on their faces. Now, any questions? Naruto smiled as she turned the technique on her students. Teach us, sensei. 3 days later, Gaara was finally at peace. No fangirls in vicinity. No Naruto dragging him in her schemes, pranks, and her war. He will peacefully walk out of the cage tower to head home and eat. Apparently the blonde had forgot to bring his lunch. It was a routine for the Uzumaki to swing by, deliver his snacks and lunch, and cause as much trouble while she's at it. Now, it's quiet and peaceful, but Gaara was unnerved by it. While he descended the stairs, he could feel premonition growing. Gaara-sama, Gaara-sama tilde. Gaara-sama, I made you some bento tilde. Fuck, I was wrong. Should have known they would not leave me alone. Bunch of pest. Where is the pest control when you needed them? Gaara inwardly pinched the border on her nose. Gaara sighed in annoyance as he got annoyed at the females handing him their made lunchbox. His eyes are stinging at the flower background. Some shinobi on the side snickered and felt pity, some were envious. Naruto, who just arrived, raised a brow. A kunoichi beside her sighed. Natsumi-san, aren't you worried? The kunoichi asked. Naruto smirked. Me worried? I am not. I am very confident with my looks. Gaara only has me. I will pamper him so that he will not look at any female but me alone. He has me, so why would he look for another? Watch and learn, Aoi-san. This is how you leash your man and keep him in line, Naruto said shamelessly, fixing her hair in front of a mirror before sparkles appeared around her with bubbles and flowers. Gaara koi tilde. Naruto called out sweetly as she walked over, pompously in slow motion. An unknown wind gently swayed her hair. She was currently wearing a red long-sleeve jacket, blue vest, and black-plated thigh-high skirt and black spandex shorts. She wore black-heeled knee-high boots instead and a black choker with a red Sun A insignia as pendant. She had dyed a few streaks of red on her hair. Her eyeliner is thick, pink lipstick and a red kanji tattoo of love on her forehead like Gaara's. The scene and attempts of the fangirls earlier did to attract Gaara's attention was crushed mercilessly by Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. She looped her arm around Gaara. I decided that I should cosplay like you today so we can match. Isn't it cute? Naruto flashed a 1000-watt men killer smile. You shouldn't really bothered. You looked beautiful whatever you wear, she's at it again. Might as well play along. I don't like the warning look on her eyes, Gaara thought. Let's go home, Gaara. I decided that we'll eat lunch together today and supper as well. It's been so long since we ate together in the dining table. Come on, I made great food. Naruto proceeded to throw dog food, make everyone jealous, to the single dogs, bystanders, making them really want to vomit blood as their insides turned green. Do what you please, Gaara replied as they began walking. Hey, teachers entrusted their students with their great knowledge and techniques for them to be successful in life. But who says the students always surpasses their teachers would apply to me? The great Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto? Come out and you and I will talk about life. Naruto though and glanced giving a taunting smile and a peace sign on the disdainful fangirls. You're doing it on purpose, crazy bitch. What kind-hearted goddess. What gentle. That woman is a nine-tails vixen. So infuriating and so. Damn, I am so angry, need to vent else I'll die out if anger. The fangirls literally leaking out killing intent. One even fainted out of anger and the other actually spatter a mouthful off blood. A few of them are still students though. Hehe. Naruto 19 points. Fangirls 0. Ha 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 ha. No one can beat me, dat bayo. I may have gave up my pride and accepted Gaara's offer to be his wife. I gave up my identity as a ninja. I gave up my dream. I gave up my good-for-nothing village. But there is no fucking way I'm giving up in this fight. Our war just started, girlies. In the battlefield, there is no mercy. Even if this is a woman's battle. We may be pretending, but even then, Gaara is my man. Come and snatch him from me if you dare, Tte. See if this young woman will not make you angry to death. Come and challenge me, Naruto thought with a dark smile, creeping out everyone in the vicinity. Should have known, with Naruto around, chaos would chase after her like a magnet. At least it gets lively and warded off those old bag of bones and civilian councils, Gaara thought. Naruto decided to make Gaara cookies, however, the ingredients are all used up and currently she was with Kurama and Kushina as they're heading to the market to shop for food. Itachi, Minato, and Iruka stayed in the mansion to watch over Mamoru and the baby girl, Mikoto, who was like her mother, a spitfire and liked to boss people around even as a child. Pure instinct, Kurama said. Pure instinct, my foot. But she's a daddy's girl. Prefers Itachi more than Kurama. Back to the three women. With them parading, even in their disguise, they took everyone's attention. Up ahead, Naruto almost tripped on her feet when they recognized them. Why can't they leave me alone? Look, I think they are multiplying. Is fangirlism a religion now? Is that even a word in the first place? They are gathering frighteningly lots of fellow worshippers. Naruto halted. I think some of them are my husbands, Kushina and Kurama said, annoyed. And here I thought I would no longer beat them to submission, ya know. Kushina huffed. Back to square one, Kurama sighed, suddenly felt her age is catching up to her. Tisk. This is so frustrating, believe it. Naruto puff up her cheeks and adorably stomp her foot on the ground as if a child throwing a tantrum. Seriously, brother-in-law, Tusan, Gaara. Did you three save the universe in your past life? Your fangirls even followed you in reincarnation. Just how devoted could they get? Naruto almost vomited blood. Okay, you win this round by quantity. Team UZUMAKI 19, Team Obsessed Fangirls 1. It does not matter, we will win in the next round by quality. Believe it. The three women head to the market where there is a sale. Clothing and accessories all 50% off. Change of plans. We split up, Kushina said. The two smirked and nodded before they ran towards the mall, jumping over the head of the women and dashed up the stairs before they split up to where clothes caught their eyes. I call dibs on that one. Naruto smiled as she managed to collect lots of bargain clothes. Hehehe, it was a really battle in there. She saw her mother and Makoto waving at her as Naruto quickly ran over. Let's pay for them, then we'll get to the grocery. Kushina lead the way as the two followed. Naruto snickered as she quickly used chakra on feet and glided, as if she was ice skating, towards a certain stall of eggs. Dozens of eggs please, Naruto told the salesman. Natsumi-san? A certain fangirl raised a brow in question. What are you doing here? Matsuri asked. Naruto paused and looked at the girl as if she was an idiot. I am buying eggs. This is a grocery store, so it is impossible to shop for heels, clothing, and undergarments. Naruto said. This caused Matsuri's face to redden, anger or embarrassment. Only she would know. How is Gaara-sensei? He's not really that cold, he's just like that. That's his real personality. I hope you can handle him though, Matsuri smiled. Really now? You're saying that in front of my face so casually? You speak as if you are his fiancé and not me. Why don't you story tell about Gaara's biography while you're at it? I am sure you don't even know the quarter of it and most are probably the facts that everyone knows. This girl, are you enjoying walking in constant haze of stupidity? Because I think your brain seemed to like it, Naruto thought. Matsuri-san, I am his fiancé, not friend. Please, I would not agree to Gaara-koi's proposal if I don't know him. I am not a whore. And could you owe me a favor? When you wash up, make sure to mash your rain properly, it's filled with rust and need to be cleaned to think properly. We can't have you going around spouting and assuming nonsense. You'll definitely lose face. Naruto smiled, cheering inwardly when Matsuri scowled. Though think cooking oil would do too, you see, it will soften and speed the fears up and easy to acquire and use. I have some used up cooking oil. You can swing by and borrow some. I would not mind, really, Naruto smiled sincerely, smirking in victory as she saw a small trail of blood from Matsuri's lip. Her face is really ashen color. Well, I'll see you later Matsuri-san. Make sure to scrub your brains well so it can be clean and not filled with unassuming things. Naruto waved and skipped back. You, Ki, Mew, Ra, Nat, Su, me, you embarrassed me and so many people. I'll get you for this. Matsuri gritted her teeth and marched away. Naruto clearly heard it. She laughed and skipped back to her mother. That afternoon, Naruto headed to the cage tower. Opening the door without consent, as usual. She stopped dead on her tracks. Natsumi-san? What the fuck are they doing here? Naruto's mind almost exploded as she eyed Tsunade, Team 8, Team 9, and Team 10. Tsunade was speaking to Gaara. At first she was quite surprised when she received the letter. The cage is getting married so she brought the available team in Konoha Legion aside from Team 7 as they are on a mission. I understand. But I do not seem to get why I can sense Iruka's chakra in this village, Tsunade said. Gaara gave a poker face. There is a news about Naruto's sighting nearby my Sanagakure so he came, Gaara answered. Not really giving anything to poke at. Shikamaru seemed to stare straight at his soul, so Gaara did what he do best. Glare at the Nara clan head. Quote dot 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 quote single quote dot 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 dot. Gaara is hiding something. It's true that Hokage-sama did not ask, and even if she asked, Gaara would not spill. Shikamaru thought. It seemed as if Gaara could read his mind as the glare maximized with Temari and Kankuro whom was behind Gaara. Okay. Alright, I won't talk. Troublesome. Good. You better keep your thoughts to yourself. Nara, the Sand siblings thought. Say, Kage-sama, who is it that why? Neji was cut off when the door opened. Gaara koi, Temari ne-chan. Kankuro bala oni-san, I brought your snacks. Naruto bounced in, opening the door without permission. The Konoha shinobi turned to the person who rudely barged in. They all recognized the woman immediately. Natsumi-san? Tsunade blurted out in surprise. Tsunade was surprised, everyone was surprised. Gaara turned to the clock and almost cursed out loud. He forgot to tell Naruto. Damn, now how to fix this problem? Do I know you? Naruto stuttered. Damn you brain, this is no time to go offline. Need help? Kurama's voice sounded in her head, making Naruto sigh in relief. Please do, Naruto said before she felt her consciousness switched with Kurama. Shikamaru had a light bulb on his head before he felt a piercing glare on the back of his head. Glancing to the side and sweat dropped when Tamari grinned maliciously at him, holding a kunai on her throat and placed a finger on her mouth as if daring him to say anything. Troublesome, he could only sigh and stand aside to watch the play. Job well done in your stage play, Naruto. I'll give you that, Shikamaru thought. Ah, I remember. You're the Hokage and these people here must be those guys, Natsumi said as she closed the door. This is Natsumi, she is my fiancé. We are to be married in 5 weeks' time, Gaara said, making the Konoha nins freeze. Gaara-san, are you not aware that Natsumi-san is Naruto Swan's wife? Lee asked. Natsumi scoffed. Konoha nins really does not change after all these years, huh? Underestimating everyone they came across. Seems like you're implying that the case cage is stupid, Natsumi said flatly. So, Gaara knew yet he's still willing. And you're willing even if you have a husband. Hinata exploded, she was very angry, very angry. Who says reverse harem is not allowed? Moreover, it is not even your business in the first place. So I don't see why you are acting as if I ruffled your feathers, Naruto, who was actually Kurama as she took over, said with that overbearing and challenging smile. You, how dare you cheat on Naruto-kun? Hinata yelled, pointing at Naruto. It's not cheating if he knew and gave permission. Did your parents ever taught you it's rude to point? You didn't grow up in streets, am I right? Kurama smirked mickingly. How dare you speak to Lady Hinata in such way? Neji stepped in. Kurama shoot the man a glare that promised pain. I have the right to question her. As the topic is about my husband and future husband, you are not qualified to question my decision. This is Suna's decision and Konoha, even if allied, had no business to interfere. That goes to you as well. Kurama turned to Hinata, quite annoyed at the woman but impressed at her guts at the same time. You unfaithful woman. Hinata gritted her teeth. At least I am an unfaithful woman. Not a slut who displayed her assets for the world to see. Who needs your jacket when there wasn't even anything decent to cover it? Are you sure you came from the prestigious clan of Hyuga? An uptight, strict, and dignified clan? You're ruining my eyes with your choose of fashion. Or should I even call it that? Kurama, being the narcissistic bitch of a Kyuubi she is, raised her chin. Hey, you bitch, how dare you? I know stepped in. Kurama turned her gaze to her as well. Dare call me bitch, whore? Why don't you come close so I can properly hear you and shove my fist into your mouth? Kurama snorted and ignored Ino, who was fuming. She looked ready to kill Naruto. I will not tolerate my ninjas to be treated this way. Tsunade stepped in. As the Hokage, for her ninjas to be humiliated is like slapping her in the face with a 5-days-old fish. Plus, Tsunade could not tolerate this shameless woman who even dared 2 times. Oh, now you're using such words? Isn't it funny? Did you even put up that words when the civilian council crushed Naruto's dreams? Did you use that words to protect Naruto from the onslaught attacks from your very village you protect? You didn't, right? I get it. The people here are clan heirs and Naruto was just a nobody, Kurama chuckled, very amused. Naruto-kun is not a nobody. He is somebody important to us. It's you who is a nobody. Hinata roared, clearly that her anger, jealousy, and sadness clouded her judgment and pouring it on Kurama. Well, I got to take that as a compliment. After all, I believe in the saying, nobody is perfect. And since I am nobody, so I am perfect, Kurama said shamelessly, making them all speechless except the Sand siblings, who developed some tolerance to her antics. They knew that it was Kurama taking over, they sensed it as soon as the speech pattern formed. You, I really don't get, why are you trying to redeem yourself? You all know it's too late. You did not know who Naruto is at all, and yet here you all are, insisting that you knew him, that he is your friend, that you care for him, yet you can't even see through the mask. It's really pathetic. Naruto finally took over, she laughed at them mockingly. The door opened and stepped in Team 7. Naruto gave them a glance before scoffing. They were surprised to see Natsumi there as well before Tenten gave a small summary in hushed voice. You You are willing to hurt Naruto. You're married to him for almost 7 years. Sakura screeched. She was very livid and wanted to punch Natsumi, but she could not really do that. Naruto is already gone. He won't be coming back forever. Why are you all fussing about that? Is there something wrong with me remarrying after Naruto died? What? You are the top village in elemental nations and there is an unspoken rule that all village must obey and had been surprised by you guys. So it extended to the life of civilians. What? Want to control me? I'm not surprised, after all. Konoha is infamous for being dogs that bites the hands that feeds them, Naruto sneered. Tsunade looked very angry and so does Kakashi, but how can they refute her words? They are true after all. You have no right to say those words. How can you be so heartless? Naruto is our friend, and Konoha is our village. Kiba snarled. His expression looked like a pot's bottom, black with rage and fury. Naruto is your friend? Ha 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 ha. Naruto almost rolled in the ground in laughter. Kiba always called him dead last and insults him every time you get a chance. Shino turned blind eye and doesn't give a fuck. Hinata is a stalker and knew some of his experience, yet she has no backbone and just watch Naruto suffer. Sasuke repeatedly calls him an idiot and brings up the fact that he's an orphan and that no one like him. That goes for Sakura, who always beats him up over small things. Kakashi ignores Naruto, which caused him to almost get killed in the Valley of End. Guy, Kurenai, both of you didn't even bother with him even though you can see that he is suffering. Ino, you are the same like Sakura. Shikamaru never even stepped in as he always finds Naruto annoying and that not worth standing up to. Choji never even stepped in, like Hinata. You have no backbone unless it concerns you. Neji, you didn't even came out better than them as you always suppress Naruto as you knew Hinata is in love with him. You did not approve of him because of his upbringing. And Tenten did not even care. Tsunade, don't even get me started. You are not the only in the world who lost people they cherish, with your self-blame and self-pity. You always cuddled Naruto when he went on mission, yet when inside the village you don't care. What the logic in that? You clearly knew that he's been through. You never even show up in his childhood. Naruto was red-faced as she poured out her emotion. Her face was red and tears freely fall once more. Stop it. Calm down. Gaara stood up and walked over, gathering the crying woman in his arms whom sobbed loudly. You don't know what he has been though, so don't make yourself feel better by putting a front that you care because it's already too late. He's already gone. Naruto screamed, almost broke the windows as she clutched her face. Pent-up emotions keeps rolling out as she tried to stop her tears only for more to break through. She clutched more tightly on Gaara's comforting arms. Everyone was silent. The atmosphere is so off. The guilt and self-blame is so thick that you can even cut it with a kunai and shuriken. After a while, Naruto looked up. Her eyes looked dull, soulless, and haunting. It scared the crap out of the people. So tell me, which one are you had the qualification to call him a friend? Step up and I promise I won't beat you. Naruto gritted her teeth, ready to start a brawl. Gaara gritted his teeth and hugged the blonde in disguise closer and almost possessively, shooting hostile glare on everyone, aside from his siblings, in the room. That's enough, Hinata. Let's get you so fresh air. You need to calm down, Gaara said before he scooped the crying Naruto up bridal style and did not even bid goodbye as they disappeared in a swirl of sand. The whole office was dead silent before they separated on their own ways to vent their anger or sadness. Hinata gritted her teeth as she poured all her anger out on Neji. They are currently sparring and Neji is doing his best not to get a gentle fist strike on his head. Hinata-sama is getting stronger, but she's blinded with rage. That is why she still has hold on her stance. But with her aggressive attacks covered them pretty well. But Neji dodged another attack that would damage his family jewel. Hinata-sama, why are you taking your anger out on me? Hang in there, Neji. You can do it. Ten, Lee, Kiba, and Shino sighed in sympathy, currently wishing that their male Hyuga friend would survive. They had keep a large distance in the sidelines. Kakashi-sensei, there is something fishy with this, Sakura said as Team 7 head to the inn there STSYING. Does it really matter? If we probe on the reasoning while it's still not ripe, we'll taste a bitter fruit, Sai said. There is something going on, but what? I don't believe that Naruto would just be gone like that. Yamanaka, give me that bottle. Tsunade slurred as she drowned her sorrows, guilt, and regret in sake once more. It was like Jiraiya's, Nawaki's, and Dan's death all over again. Hokage-sama, I know you are feeling bad about this. I am too, but you got to pull yourself together. Io held the bottle of sake out of Tsunade's reach. How can I pull myself together when everything is already into a fine powder and not shards of glass? At least the glass you can still piece it back and recognize it, but powder is in the whole different level. Tsunade yelled and then hiccued. Now quit stalling and give it here, she added before passing out on the floor. Tsunade-sama. Ini sighed and turned to the window. Natsumi-san is right. None of us deserve Naruto's care, friendship, and acknowledgement. Ino wiped the tears on her eyes. Shikamaru. Where are we going? Choji asked as they keep walking. I'm going to see Tamari. You go on ahead. Shikamaru waved lazily. Choji head to the restaurant. I get it. Shikamaru walked over to the training ground. Alright, Nara, I know you figured it all out. But if you spill a word about it, consider us done. Tamari threatened and she stepped on Shikamaru's head. Troublesome woman, you could just threatened me while standing. What a drag, Shikamaru grunted as he laid down on the sand. Grr, let me go, Minato. Let me go, I'm going to give them the peace of my mind. Let me go on a rampage, Ibane. How dare they make Misumi cry. Kushina roared in her nine-tails scary overprotective worried mother mode. Keiku Kushina, see calm down. Minato struggled to hold the seals on Kushina, whom was trying to break out. I know you are upset. I am too, but you have to be patient and follow Naruto's plan. No revelation until the wedding day, Minato reassured. That does not make me feel any better, Minato baka. Kushina resorted to Iruka's big head jutsu with her head filled with tick marks. Naruto sighed as she wiped away the tears. I'm such a cry baby, Gaara. Naruto sighed once more. I really don't blame you. I guess you're not that much ready to face them. And no, it is not a weakness either. It's just that, for you, you are not that much used to showing the real you. You have a reflex to act stupid, and along those lines, Gaara said. Naruto let out another big sigh. Gaara, I want to vent my anger. Let's create trouble, Naruto said. Gaara was unsure as he nodded hesitantly. I'm going to regret this. And so, Naruto drank sake to her heart content, becoming completely wasted and acted like an idiot. Laughing then crying and started babbling incoherent words. That's enough, come on, you need to rest. Gaara sighed and dragged the woman out of the bar, using his sand cloud to take them back to the mansion. Hitaki. Gaara turned to the shadows and stepped out Kakashi. Cage-sama, good evening, Kakashi greeted. Gaara gave a nod of acknowledgement. May I be so bold, Cage-sama? How did you know of Natsumi Swan's existence? Kakashi asked. I'm the Cage, I don't have to tell you anything, and you don't need to know everything, Gaara answered. Quote dot 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 quote single quote dot 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 dot. That's strange, Gaara usually just keeps silent and ignored when he did not want to answer, Kakashi thought. With Naruto around, there is no way your habits wouldn't change, Gaara scoffed as he read the expression on Kakashi's eyes. Of course, I am just curious, Kakashi chuckled awkwardly. Gaara shook his head as he shifted the woman in his arms in a more comfortable position. Is there anything else? If there's not, then I'll excuse myself. As you can see, my arms are full, Gaara said and walked past Kakashi without even staying to hear out the jonin. I'll give him a bit of face. I'm not as ruthless as Naruto, whom claws them off, Gaara though, smirking. Cage-sama, did Naruto came and visit you? Why is Iruka really here? And how did you even meet Natsumi-san? Are you aware of her situation? Kakashi suddenly asked. That's none of your business, I am under no obligation to tell you what I know. I owe you nothing for me to answer such confidential question. Why would I betray my friend and answer you? Gaara continued on walking before shutting the door with his sand. Since you don't want me giving you face, why would I constantly offer you? Damn, Naruto's antics is rubbing off on me. THSTA all for now. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments.